Okay, I think we're on. Again, I have a lag on my screen, so I'm never quite sure. But I'm sure we're on now because now I can see it and it's caught up. Hello, welcome back everyone to the Deck of Many Worlds. We are here this afternoon for you, this evening for me, for the finale of this show, which is crazy. It snuck up on me really quick because I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. But hey, it's cool. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be happy and wholesome and no one's going to die this time. Let's see. I'll do sponsors first so that we can introduce everyone, hopefully, once Birdie has arrived. She'll be here soon, guys. For sure. Okay, so we're going to do things back and front. We're going to start with sponsors. So, to start with, we are sponsored by The Spy Game, unless I am very mistaken, and my sponsor list is out of date. The Spy Game is currently on Kickstarter. It's a fantastic, super fun D&D 5th edition rule set for a spy and espionage setting roleplay game, and I was seriously excited to contribute some of the art for this project. It was so much fun. Everyone working on it is just wonderful, amazing, kind people. And yeah, you can take on the role of a spy running intel and engaging with what is termed here as wet work, which sounds a bit weird, to ensure the security of the world from corrupt governments and the evil machinations of rogue villains. Check it out on Kickstarter. Seriously, you won't regret it. It's looking amazing. All of the rewards look fantastic, so it's worth having a look at. Next up is Fantasy Grounds, which is what we're using this evening for all of our dice rolls. I recently converted my home D&D game to using Fantasy Grounds because we live all over the country and it just feels a lot more like rolling real dice together to use this program than using other options. So I really enjoy it because you can roll actual virtual dice, and I am a child who likes to collect dice and just look at pretty shinies all day long. So use it if you like dice, it's great. Next up is Wayland Games, which I have, man, I think I've partaken of almost all the things that are sponsoring this show. So don't take my word for it, but Wayland Games are great. You can get all your miniature gaming needs, supplies from these guys, Warhammer, D&D miniatures, Malifaux, you name it. And most of the stuff they've got is also at 20% off recommended retail price, so you'll make a bit of a saving if you go through them. Also, their delivery is super quick. I've used them a few times in the past. Lastly, is it our last sponsor? Anyway, it's our next sponsor. Our next sponsor is Tabletop Loot. And they sell amazing dice. So, like I said earlier, we all love dice. Go get yourself some more dice. You can never have enough dice. When we hit 20 retweets, we will be giving away a set of dice for you guys in chat to potentially win. So, more dice. Dice madness. And you can, in general, you can support the stream by retweeting about the show. And if you do donate to the show, you can cause certain strange things to happen, wild magic surges, like you can kind of create successes or failures for our players, or for me as the DM, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. And lots of cool kooky stuff you can use to influence the game. Birdie is still not here. It's fine, we'll introduce her when she arrives. But we will start by going around the circle, and I am really bad at reading the names in this because my screens are really small. But we will start by going underneath me with Morgan, our Aasimar cleric, who I believe was in our last session 3 long weeks ago.
Yes, I was. Hi, I'm Misty. I'm playing Morgan, the Aasimar cleric. She frolicked around with Bobcat and Frankie. And
was it Sharling? Grandpa Sharling was the other one we had last time?
Yes, Grandpa Sharling, and we were stuck in the Underbog. And at the end, Frankie hoarded a bunch of drinks and toys for the kids back up above. And we got a card for the deck. So, my home channel is over on the Scraticus channel. That's where you'll find me most days. And next season, you'll find me on the Greyhawk channel DMing a brand new show. So, thank you very much, and I can't wait to play.
Awesome. Next up is a new player for this week, Greybeard's Tavern. I love your character so much. Please tell us all about them.
Oh, all right. Today I will be playing Kensei Kenku named Kenjobu, and he's going to be new and exciting, and I'll see what I can do for voices. Generally, this is where we kind of tell about ourselves, or we just that's
tell us a little about yourself, where we can find you and stuff.
Check out my schedule on Twitter. There's a lot going on, so it'll be just better to look up Greybeard's Tavern on Twitter, and my schedule is the first thing pinned there. But noted things, I'm on Dammit Barry's channel, Pro Restarter's channel, Jackal and Hare's channel, here on Encounter Roleplay on Sundays for Apocalypse When. We're headed into the finale of that, and oh my goodness, we're hunting ourselves through time. So check that out, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, right here.
Fantastic. Next up, Cleric.
Hi, somebody who's as busy as I am. I am Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. I am playing, well, it says Pepper, but we all know that Pepper is off with Oscar, hopefully to be revived, resurrected, something. So I'm actually playing Frankie Four Fingers. He's a Goliath rogue with a heart of gold and is just an absolute sweetheart. Check my pinned tweet for where I'm at, but tomorrow I will be back here at 2 p.m. Eastern for Basilica, the Cudgel of the Greyhawk setting game, which is so much fun. I am now in love with playing Paladins. And then this Sunday, if you've been following, no, I can't remember. Arcana Code. Sorry. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Arcana Code, Sunday. We will be back from our hiatus for a new session, playing my warlock, who's just a sweetheart and has a patron named Puck. And she has a wand of wonders. Anyways, so check my pinned tweet. That's where I'm at. And I am so looking forward to seeing what's going to happen today.
Well, you know more than anyone else does, because we've had secret chats. All right, so assuming that Birdie's going to join when she can, and it sounds like she's listening along, so she knows what's going on. Also, Birdie, if you want, feel free to message in the Twitch chat if there's anything you want to say that Bobcat does until you're online with us. But until then, I think it's probably time we started the finale episode of The Deck of Many Worlds. Hope you're all ready.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing that Morgan, Bobcat, and Frankie remember is hard ground underneath your hands, underneath your face, as you met quickly and painfully with the surface of the docks down in Waterdeep. Suddenly, your ears are filled with the sound of voices and the noises of the dockyard, and as you open your eyes, you blink back the very bright light of day after spending so long in the Underdark. This sudden shift to incredibly bright light all around you is almost blinding, as it takes a few seconds, about 30 seconds, for your eyesight to slowly fade back to normal. What do you do?
Well, Morgan kind of gets up and she just starts to look around, make sure that her traveling mates are okay. And she kind of looks over at Frankie. Are you good?
Right. Yeah. And he's making sure that he has all of the stuff that he had grabbed for the kids.
Yeah, everything you had with you when you left the Underdark, you still have now. And that's the same for all of you. Could you both roll perception checks for me, please?
Of course.
Lovely.
17.
18.
All right, both of you.
17.
Wow, oh yeah, I forget you've got crazy modifiers. Immediately, both of you realized something is very wrong. The first thing that is apparent is the light. it's not a typical sunny day in Waterdeep, even though the strength and the piercing nature of this light is reminiscent of a midsummer afternoon. The light is colder. It's not warm. It doesn't fill you with the pleasant sensation of sunlight on your skin as you are so used to down in the dock ward. It's cold, sharp, and it's wrong. It almost has this slight violet tinge to it, and everything is lit with this cold, purplish, violet, white light all around you. It reflects off of the water in the dock, it reflects off of the puddles in the street, and bathes everything in this strange, desaturating glow that almost seems a bit like dawn, if dawn was 100 times brighter. Not only this, you realize the sounds around you, they aren't the normal bustling, busy sounds of the Waterdeep dockyard. They aren't traders moving wares, or they aren't customers perusing objects to buy. People are running, people are grabbing what they can and sprinting as fast as they can through the dock ward and out into the streets and alleys, mostly running past you in what appears to be an easterly direction. People just seem to be trying to get off the streets. A lot of people are barricading themselves in the taverns, in their houses. Some people are even kind of grabbing wares that have been left in the dock ward, like merchant stalls have been abandoned. And Morgan, with your incredible roll, you actually see a little bit of the reason why. A little way westwards, deeper into the dock ward from here, you can see over the roofs almost what looks like shapes, massive, colossal shapes moving. And you realize that there's almost some sort of a fine mist or haze that seems to fill the air above the level of the rooftops. But whatever you can see moving in the mist and the fog in the distance is colossal, something with enormous mass, and it's just slowly moving. And you see smaller objects, but you just see the air in that direction seems to be filled with shapes.
Frankie, I think we got a monster coming at us. I don't think we're going to be able to deliver our gifts to the kids and to the people. It's over there, and it's really, really big.
Frankie, you see that the direction Morgan points is the direction of Markello's curios.
Well, all right, right. Frankie's going to reach down. He's going to look for Grandpa Sharling, who apparently has disappeared, but people disappear all the time, so whatever. He's going to just, okay, one less person to worry about. He's going to grab Bobcat by the scruff of the neck, who seems a little dazed and kind of out of it, toss him over his shoulder, grab Morgan by the wrist, and start heading at a very brisk jog towards Marcello's.
Okay, as you are heading towards Markello's, you both feel the wind is picking up, and it's almost as if you are on the periphery of some kind of storm. And it gets to the point that this wind is so strong, it's almost pushing you back. And I'd like you both to make a strength athletics check for me. Morgan, I can say you've got advantage because Frankie is kind of holding on to you and pulling you along, and Frankie's pretty big.
30-20 for Frankie.
It's not surprising.
18.
Okay. So you both manage to kind of push your way through this breeze. And as you do so, you realize that there is debris and detritus that's been picked up in this kind of whirlwind and is kind of being thrown hither and thither. There are crates, pallets, all the sorts of objects you might find lying around the dock ward have been caught up in this whirlwind. And Frankie, being the larger of the two, I'd like you to make a dexterity saving throw for me. Okay, so with a 9, you feel... Yeah, oops. With a 9, you are looking down to make sure that Morgan is coming with you when suddenly, out of nowhere, a a metal bucket flies through the air and smacks into you on the side of the head. And you take 4 bludgeoning damage as this thing just almost dazes you, and then just carries on. It kind of clatters off you and then is picked up by the breeze again and just dragged onwards in this whirlwind as you're slowly making your way through.
Right. Morgan and Bobcat have both learned just a few new words in Giant. If they spoke Giant, probably could assume what they mean. Yeah, the air is now turning blue around him, shall we say.
Sounds about right. As you push your way further through this maelstrom, it seems to get more difficult as you get closer to Markel's shop. And you can see it now. It's not far from where you are. You're making your way closer and closer. Could I have one more athletics check for both of you, please, just to see if you can get to the door?
Oh.
That
All right,
one.
as you,
Yeah, this is not going well. That was, yeah.
As you're getting closer, you're almost within arm's reach of the door, Frankie, but as you reach for it, suddenly a huge chunk of what seems to be some kind of cart starts barreling towards you. It's not quite lifted off the ground, but it's been kind of picked up from where it was resting on the cobbles and is kind of coming at you with some speed. So what I'm going to say is you have a choice. You can either drop back and try again, or you can make an acrobatics check to try and get both of you slip through the door to Markello's Curios before it hits.
He's not going to risk Bobcat or Morgan, so he's going to step back out of the way.
Okay, so as you kind of take a step back, there's this almighty smash as the cart crashes into the front of the shop, and it manages to like kind of properly throw in some of the brick wall of the front of the shop, and you hear smashing as any cabinets that haven't already been broken are thrown inwards, and you hear the glass breaking. You have stepped back over, and you can see that there is a window next to you which you can try and get through instead. It seems that the front of the shop is kind of in the path of these strong winds that are just kind of sweeping around. And as you take a moment to pause, could I have you both make another perception check for me, please?
Okay. Having expertise in perception, that's a total of 12, having rolled a 6.
I have 11.
That's enough. That's still enough, though. You rolled more than a 10. So as you take a moment, you find yourself looking up as an enormous shadow passes over the top of both of you. And what you see is, it's not a creature. It appears to be a tavern, completely uprooted out of the ground, just floating through the air above you. And as you kind of look beyond and around this building, you see there are several whole buildings that have been ripped from their foundations and are drifting in the center of this storm in these lazy spirals, along with countless other pieces of detritus, pieces of roofs, front doors, chairs, tables, fragments of glass, bits of stone. There's a cow here and there just being like tossed around in this whirlwind. It's as if this storm, which at this point you're close enough to be able to tell, both of you, the way the air is humming and crackling with power around you is definitely magical in nature, has started to rip pieces of Waterdeep out of its foundations and has thrown them into the air, and you have this kaleidoscopic vision of towers and churches and taverns and countless types of buildings, some you might have probably visited in your time in Waterdeep, all flying through the air, crashing into each other, breaking apart, more pieces coming off of the whole, until you just see this vortex of buildings and detritus spiraling in the storm above you, and Markello's shop is right at the base of this storm. And you also see there is a window next to you.
Bit blustery today. No poo flying a piglet.
No poof flying a piglet.
All right. He's going to let go of Morgan's wrist, transfer Bobcat to the other shoulder, and then is the window intact still?
No, the window has been smashed, but it's big enough for you just to climb through if you wanted to.
All right. He'll clean out any spare glass that's sticking around inside the frame, and he'll climb through carefully, kind of feeding Bobcat with him as he goes. And the whole time he's yelling for Marcello, or the old man.
Okay. Could you just both roll either athletics or acrobatics, your choice, just to see, as you try and get through this window? Okay. You both managed to make it through without like scraping or scratching yourself on like the stone or the glass. And you drop down the other side into the ruined interior of Corella's Curios, Mercurio's antique shop. What you see is a complete mess. Dozens of items that had previously been in secure display cases are strewn across the room. There is rubble everywhere. There's shards of glass. The roof of this section of the shop has actually been lifted off entirely. And if you look up, you can clearly see the swirling mass of buildings and hunks of stone that are kind of amassing above your heads. Occasionally you have to duck as some wayward pieces of banister or railing or pieces of furniture start to whiz a little bit close to your ears for your comfort. But ahead of you, make a perception check for me. I'm getting you to do all the rolls tonight. That's more like it.
So sorry, what was the roll?
Perception.
Perception. 23 for Frankie.
Okay.
23 for...
Fantastic. You both firstly see a figure clad in dark navy robes who is sitting with his back pressed up against a wall. You can see what looks like a black eye. Frankie, this is Marcello. He looks exhausted physically and mentally. He doesn't appear to be bleeding from any particularly dire wounds, but you can see this black eye, and you can see that the poise and power he carried himself with when you'd met him in the past seems to have completely deflated. He is hunched over and just semi-unconscious. You also see another figure. Could our Kenku please describe themselves?
Sure. First off, they're a Kenku, and they have... I would wear the mask, but it'll make my face itchy. They're a Kenku. They're in like monk-like robes. They have a long sword and a long bow on their back, along with some kind of strange banjo lute, maybe. And they're sitting with their taloned feet crossed at the ankles, and they just look up at you with jet black eyes. Okay, so Kenjobu, this madness all started about an hour ago. The first rumblings were felt across Waterdeep, and it slowly ramped up until you saw it with your own eyes. You saw buildings ripped out of the ground. You saw people running from their houses as they were dragged out, and you saw this bright whitish violet light as it bloomed above the city of Waterdeep, high up in the sky, near where the kind of apex of all of these buildings are twisting and turning in this whirlwind. You haven't been able to really clearly see what's going on yet, but you either came to this particular shop either to seek shelter or to find out more or to see if you could help somehow. The choice is yours. Why do you think you came here? Probably, if the town is coming apart, probably to help. see what I can do to assist in not letting the town come apart. Because maybe I've been in Waterdeep for a while now.
Sounds very reasonable. So, Frankie, you see Markello slumped against the wall, and you see this Kenku figure who is also, you would probably be standing fairly close to a wall or a lintel or something to give a little bit of protection from the swirling mass.
Helps if I unmute myself. It's been a thing this week. So with Bobcat over one shoulder, Frankie draws a short sword and he puts it to the Kenku's throat and he says, "Right, what'd you do to the old man? Where are the kids? Come on."
He points at the swirling mass and the light, and he says in a little kid's voice, "Mommy, what is that?"
Oh,
I don't
boy.
think he
You've been
knows.
hit in the head. One too many hits. Oh, right, all right. And he's putting away the sword. He doesn't see the Kenku as a threat. He picks up the old man. Birdie! Picks up the old man, puts him over his other shoulder, and starts heading towards the back room where initially Pepper had been laying.
Can
in
you
that
guys
back
hear me?
picture.
Yes, you're back! Welcome!
Yay!
Oh god, hold on. I can't hear you. As you were.
Alright. Frankie, you pick up Markello. He seems to be stirring and coming to a little bit, and you head towards that back room. You realize as you get there, the back room seems surprisingly in one piece. It's as if it's built almost like some kind of bunker. As you push open the door, and you find the inside is fairly untouched. Like, the general rumbling and cracking of everything going around has knocked a lot of stuff over in here, but the damage seems minimal.
All right, so he'll
children, get inside. He mimics as he follows.
We gotta get in here and close the door
Yeah.
and figure out what's going on.
Frankie looks at the little bird and goes, "There's something wrong with you," and gently lays Marcello down and then sets Bobcat down and, Maury, check out the old man,
Okay, let me see.
please.
All right, do I have
Okay.
any insight into what's wrong with the old man?
If you could, you roll a medicine check for me, and meanwhile, Bobcat, you realize you are in the safe storeroom of Corellan's Curios. You've seen everything that I've described, but you've been kind of dazed. It's a bit like a weird dimensional traveling hangover, but you're starting to feel yourself come back to your senses now.
Yeah, I also want to say I'm so happy I could cry right now. That was such a mess. I'm so sorry I'm so late.
Oh, no, not at all. The important thing is you're here now.
Yes. Yeah, so Bobcat kind of shakes it off a little bit and almost like a cat like shaking water off of its fur or something. And he just looks around and he goes, "Wow, dude, that was one hell of a ride, huh?"
Frankie just hands
how's
you a
everybody
Snitters
doing?
bar. Frankie just hands you a Snitters bar and then takes one for himself.
I
There's a
happily take
flying-
that.
There's a flying building outside, and it was a dirty 20.
Awesome. So as you're looking over Markello, it seems that the man has been incredibly exhausted from what it looks like from repeated like heavy magic use. He clearly doesn't have much energy left, and you can tell this guy is very old for an elf. But he's coming around, and it looks like he might have sustained some like blunt force damage from just all of the stuff being thrown around his shop, and probably fairly near the start if he was knocked out before all this craziness took off, because he was already kind of slumped against the wall when you arrived, Kenjobu. But he's starting to stir as you kind of examine him, and he looks up. His eyes focus on you, Morgan, and he doesn't recognize you, and then he sits bolt upright, winces, as if something's clearly you kind of hear maybe like a cracking sound in his back, But his eyes quickly find Bobcat and Frankie.
So can Morgan heal him of the physical ailments that he has?
I mean, you get the impression that the cracking is probably just an old man's back. You don't think there's any actual injury here. It's mostly exhaustion.
Okay, no more crazy. We're here. Can you tell us what on earth is going on?
Who's the bird?
I don't know. Are you a Kenku?
Birds can't talk.
Yes,
And
this
then he
gentleman
nods.
appears to be a Kenku. Firstly, I suppose I should say, oh goodness, I suppose I should say thank you for coming to my aid. You made it back at quite the moment. You do realize you've been gone almost a week now.
Wait, who's taking care of the animals?
Well, the
Or the
children, from what I've understood, been doing an excellent job.
Who fed the kids? If you don't feed the kids, the kids can't feed the animals.
Well, they're quite self-sufficient, actually. And as I said before you left, you should see the state of my kitchen, I tell you. Anyway, that's not important now. And he kind of looks incredibly frustrated with all of you. Listen, I think I've been out for a little while, but something, well, as you can tell, something big is happening. I don't know exactly what. It's something to do with the cards, or it wouldn't be focused here. I saw the figure you described, a woman dressed in grey and white. Yes, I think.
Oh, yeah, that one. Not a fan of hers. Not a fan.
Well, yes, well,
You know,
she's
nice
here.
lady.
And as far as
You're
I'm
here?
aware... Who are here? Come again?
You're here? Like,
Well,
in
yes,
the shop?
where do you think,
but
where do you
or,
think
like-
this cosmic magical storm is coming from? Bobcat, were you passed out as well?
Yes!
Well, that explains it, I suppose. I'll let you off the hook. Anyway, she's at the center of this maelstrom, as far as I'm aware, someplace near the top. And from what I was able to gather before I was thrown against the wall of my own shop and knocked out, this appears to be the work of the card of the astral plane. I don't know how much you know about the astral plane, but it is between every other plane. Everything, and yet it is a nothingness where people travel between the planes, a plane of dreams. This might explain why you were getting strange visitations in
Oh,
your sleep.
dreams.
Yes.
No good. She's dream lady. Yeah.
It appears that she is attempting to bring the astral plane into the same occupying space as the prime material plane. The two seem to be coalescing and merging with Waterdeep as the center point. And if this isn't, if somehow we don't put a stop to this, this will spread. Waterdeep will be completely fractured and will drift into the astral sea along with the rest of the material plane, starting around the outskirts of the city. I don't know why.
None of that makes any sense to me, but I think you need better wards on your shop. I thought this place was secure. How you keep getting blown around like this?
That's a bad thing, what he just said, right?
Well, yes, if you don't
Okay.
want to lose everything you've worked for in Waterdeep, and probably everyone you know in Waterdeep as well, I suggest it's a problem that would need addressing. And I would have been placing more wards on my shop if it had not been to the fact that my magic has been rather strained recently in trying to find the rest of the cards, whilst you were goodness knows where for an entire week with the Seeker card with you.
We were trying to
Underdark.
find all the cards, and then I pull out the cards. I'm like, look, we got cards, man.
Yes,
You're
how
a real
many is
jerk
that?
right
4?
now. I told you she took 2 of them.
We was
I'm
in
sorry.
the Underdark.
I'm sorry, it's been a really shit day.
Yeah.
I brought
Tell me
back
about it.
stuff. And Frankie starts pulling things out of the pouch that he had brought back from the Underdark. And he's like demonstrating little toys and things like that and making heads bobble and
Well, that's lovely. I'm not sure how you're planning to save the city with bobblehead toys.
oh no, it's just souvenirs. there was a shop. It was, and I think he's still probably dressed as 3 Duragar in a cloak. See, we had to disguise ourselves like this, and and he pulls the hood up, and goes, "I'm a Duragar."
I got to be a spider. It was pretty cool, actually.
It was. He's a good spider.
Thanks.
Right.
Very scary.
Right. I imagine this is quite a tale to tell. Could you please
Yeah,
do
you
it?
want to hear it?
Not right now. What part of
Okay.
realms colliding did you not quite pick up the first time?
You're in such a bad mood. And then Bobcat is gonna be uncharacteristically the calm one and go to make a pot of tea for Markello so that he'll chill
And
out.
Frankie just hands him a Snitters bar.
You go to open the door to the storeroom to go to the kitchen to make a cup of tea, and as soon as you open the door, it is blasted back, and you're just met with this wall of wind and detritus and a force in front of you.
So Bobcat is gonna walk back, and like his hat has been blown back because he's got one of those hats that you can wear with like the string underneath. So it's been blown back, and it's just sitting on the back of his neck. And his shirt's like one of the buttons got blown off and everything, so his shirt's like flapping in the wind. And he just turns around and he goes, "Is there a tea shop nearby?"
If there is, it's probably floating about 100 feet up in the sky, yes.
No, it was the
Oh.
tavern. That was the tavern that was up there.
Hey,
It's-
did we
it's a
bring
good
back any of
tavern.
that beer? Did you drink it all?
Oh, yeah. Pulls out keg.
Yeah.
Cask.
All right. Bobcat's
Starts
going to take a
pouring.
few deep gulps and then hand it to Markello and be like, "You need to chill, bro." This is the good stuff from the Underdark, man.
He just kind of looks
Pulls
at
out
you,
another one, hands it off to Morgan,
but
and is looking down
doesn't
at the bird
actually
like,
seem to be
"Do
able to
birds
resist
drink?"
his curiosity.
Morgan's just looking at it. Like, this is not going to solve our problems.
He says in Bobcat's voice, "You need to chill, bro." And he puts out his mug.
Yeah. Yes, I like this guy.
Okay, tell me, does he do the bird thing, with the long neck and the...
He actually opens his beak and then pours it in, and then goes and then swallows it.
Nice.
Okay,
Good
is it
bird.
one of yours?
No, man, but hey, if you need a place to sleep, I got plenty of space at the zoo.
Birds can't talk. And you just see the frustration in his face. Like,
It'll be fine. I'll teach you. I'll teach you all the letters and the words and all the things. Once we fix whatever the hell is going on outside, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Wait, is the zoo okay? Has anyone checked on the zoo?
Bobcat, there is a flying tavern with a wicked witch somewhere. We can worry about the zoo after we get rid of the lady that is trying to destroy the world.
Okay, but if she destroyed the zoo already, I'm really gonna destroy her back, is what I'm saying. Because we're gonna have problems.
You get the impression that the destruction hasn't quite. It's still mostly concentrated in the dock ward.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of like the castle ward, but it hasn't gone as far as the outskirts where your zoo is.
Okay, so he's had a couple drinks, he's chilled a little bit, and he just looks and he's like, "All right, how do we fix this? What do you want us to do? We're here, we're awake, we're calm-ish. We've
Markello
shared our
kind
wares
of-
with you."
Markello looks towards the door and slowly tries to stand, and you can definitely see that he has exhausted himself on something. Well, it looks to me like we're going to have to climb. And as he says this, you see another building start to float closer. And it seems to be the middle floor of some kind of beautiful mansion that's been like ripped out by its foundations, only it's not the foundations, it's like some kind of upper floor. You can kind of see beautiful curtains. And indeed, as the house kind of tumbles and rolls and slowly rights itself, a long length of curtain and drapery is trailing down and is getting closer to you. It'll be just about the right height to grab.
Boy, fancy.
Kenjobu will say in Marcelo's voice, "Save the city with bobblehead toys," and then runs and jumps to the curtain and starts climbing. And he's doing the bob thing like birds do that I can't.
Amazing.
I look at Freddy and I say, does that mean we're supposed to bring the bobbleheads?
No, don't just don't worry about the bobbleheads, please. Just find the sorceress doing this and put a stop to what she's doing, okay? Just you need to get to her if you want to have any hope of stopping this from happening. You need to separate her from the cards in her possession.
Ah, okay. See, that's helpful. That's all you had to say from the beginning.
Well, I'm sorry I wasn't more forthright.
It's
All right,
right,
let's
you
go.
know. Frankie starts
All right.
climbing.
If you're gonna try and
Alright.
climb, do I have an athletics check from everyone?
I cannot get into fantasy ground, so I'm going to use my own.
Yeah,
if that's
go
okay.
for it. Just roll the real dice.
Okay. Ow. An athletics check, you said?
Yeah,
16 for Frankie.
nice.
Oh,
Well.
I got a dirty 20.
Wow. Nice.
Can I parkour and use acrobatics instead?
Of course you can. Anything for a monk.
Woo! Yay, months. All right. Oops. I always do this. How do I roll it? Oh, there it is.
Whew, just as well you did. So all of you successfully managed to start climbing up this drapery. As you do so, the house is righting itself, so it's kind of orientated the right way up for a house to be. And as you kind of climb over the windowsill of the window that this drape was hanging out of, you roll onto this plush carpet of what appears to be a very, very well decorated guest bedroom in the upper floor that was ripped off of wherever this house came from. Two things. Could I get everyone to roll perception for me?
I did less good that time. I got a 6.
24 for Frankie. And he will be keeping an eye out for any pretty little baubles that might be hanging out in this room as well.
So, firstly, for Frankie, there are many a pretty bauble. There are beautiful silk curtain tassels. You can see perfume bottles and flowers and vases which have been smashed and broken. This house has been roly-polying over itself as it's been flying through the air. One thing that... Sorry.
He's going to pocket any intact perfume bottles.
You are definitely going to find a few, and little baubles like that, you'll definitely find a few. Maybe some bits of jewelry or rings or something.
Yep.
Morgan, you also catch out of the corner of your eye as you are just climbing in through the window. You see a patch of kind of bricks in the same, like the same brick that's used as upper house. The upper part of this house kind of slowly floats by you, and it clearly seems to have been from the same building, and there is a brass plaque on the house. And you see that this may or may not mean anything to you, but you just note as you climb past it that it has the word Casalanta printed on it.
Casalanta. Okay.
And you find yourself in the... you can roll a history check for me. As you all find yourself in this guest bedroom.
What does Bobcat see it?
What did you roll?
Oh, as an
Yeah.
interceptor. No, I only rolled like a 6.
No, only Morgan
Okay.
sees this.
Okay.
Morgan, you don't really know where this is from. It clearly seems to have been a plaque for the owners of the house, but you don't know who they are, really. So as you work your way into this bedroom, you can see that part of the house has already been like torn off, and there are bits floating past, but at least you're out of harm's way of a lot of pieces that could kind of whack you if you were out in the open. You all know that, obviously you were told to climb, so you kind of have to keep heading up, but you saw as this chunk of building floated by, there was a story above this one, possibly some kind of attic or something. that you could probably climb through and kind of out the top of to try and find like another stepping stone to get a little bit higher.
So Frankie will keep climbing.
Okay. So you kind of dash out of this bedroom. And you find yourself in a hallway. Some of the floorboards, the middle of this hallway, have been kind of ripped up. But there is enough for you to stand on without it giving way under your feet. And you do see what looks like a in the ceiling. There is a kind of a not a trap door, but you know those kind of attic doors that you get has been kind of thrown open with the violence how it's tossed this building around, and it's just kind of hanging. You can see that there's one of those ladders that extends out that's in the mouth of the attic door, but hasn't quite been jogged down yet. But if you reckon if you were able to kind of jump up and grab it, you could probably pull it down.
And,
Just checking real quick. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Kenjo, before he left the room, he swiped up in his feathered hand some of the baubles, and in Frankie's voice said, "Presents for the children," and then like lumped him in his robes. And then as he comes into this hallway and sees this situation, he looks at Frankie and says, "Up, Daddy, up!" and starts running towards you, like, you know, pointing at the hatch, like, "Throw me up there." But he can't say that.
Okay. Frankie is well versed in the fastball special with little people because it's part of training the rogues, and he also happens to have second story work abilities, so he can also make a running jump with the distance he covers equal to the number of feet of his dexterity modifier, which is 4. So yeah, he'll as soon as he sees the little bird, he's going to lace his fingers together, put him down, scrunch down, ready to go, and then he will heave that bird right into the trapdoor.
Birdie, make a acrobatics check with advantage because you're being helped by Frankie.
All right, and there's an advantage button.
You
Yes.
can.
Yeah,
Yeah, there is actually.
Just click it and roll.
Okay. 19, fantastic. That's good enough as you manage to catch the edge of this the ladder, and as you the boost was high enough to just propel you into this attic space yourself, but you're also able to push down the ladder as you do so, and you find yourself in what appears to be a fairly dark attic. The roof still seems to be fairly intact on this particular building. But you see there is almost like an attic corridor with no windows, but there is a door that leads on into what looks like a larger, maybe some kind of attic bedroom.
He'll stand there and wait to help anyone else who needs help up or whatnot.
Frankie will climb up behind him and drop a rope down.
Cool, yeah, so between a rope and a ladder, the other two of you won't need to roll any checks to get up here, as you have ample support and willing hands able to kind of pull you up. And you find yourself in this little kind of interim attic room with the door in front of you.
Okay.
Frankie's going to go over. Frankie's going to go over and again, this is what Frankie does. So he's going to very carefully check for to see if the door is locked.
Mm-hmm. Make an investigation check for me, please, Frankie.
He's not so good at those. Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay. The door is locked. You can tell that much.
Okay. Then he will go ahead and pull out his thieves' tools and undo that. So dexterity check with proficiency, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I help? Give him
I
advantage?
don't know if you can help with lock picking because it's kind of something you can only, it's too many cooks kind of situation.
Okay.
What you can do though, as Frankie is skillfully picking this lock, would the rest of you roll perception checks for me?
That's a dirty 20. I
Right.
rolled it as a dex save because same thing.
19.
Nice.
17.
Birdie, what have we got for perception from you?
It was 19.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
19.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I messed the voices up. Okay,
That's
so Bobcat and Kenjobu.
Yep.
Just before the door swings open, as soon as the door is unlocked, the force of this pitching and rapidly moving house, which luckily for you seems actually to be ascending rather than descending. Just before this door is thrown open, you think you catch a sound a bit like chains rattling. But before you can really do anything about it, the door is thrown open. What do you do?
Where did the chains come from? Sorry.
It was coming from the other side of the door. You basically have a split second, the door slams open before you kind of fully see what's inside. But if you want to charge straight in, you can.
So the sound of the chains is coming from the door that just opened.
The other
make sure
side
I
of the door.
understand.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now it's open and I can see in. I don't want to run towards the sound of chains. That sounds bad. So can I pause and see what I see, or is it gonna like suck me in?
No, I just want to know what everyone's doing in a split second.
Okay.
Frankie just
I'm
the door
bracing for
opened.
impact.
Yeah. Frankie finishes, he hears the click, he pushes the door open, and with one hand he's putting the tools away as he looks inside.
Okay.
Morgan would get ready to cast something to make she doesn't know what she's gonna cast, but it's like something's gonna come through that door and it's gonna hurt my friends. So it's more like, okay, stay off to the side, but don't hurt my friends, whatever
Okay.
you are.
Kenjobu rolls his back to the wall, but then does that bird thing where he twists his head sideways and around so he can peek in real quick, and then snaps his head back.
Okay, so as you take a moment, having heard this sound before you rush into the room, the first thing you all see is a humanoid figure at the other end of this attic space. And you can see that there are little beams of light shining through the roof. It looks like in its crazy careening through the upper airspace of Waterdeep, roof tiles are slowly being kind of knocked off of the roof, and there are now weak points where light is shining through that you're pretty sure will be fairly easy to like puncture through in order to get up onto the roof. But this light is trickling down on an otherwise completely unlit attic space. You're immediately aware of the smell of blood on the floor. What looks like just...
Oh, good.
Some of it is quite old, as if it's just kind of, there's like a large kind of stain in the center of the floor. And there are other kind of fresher splatters here and there. But at the other end of the room, you see this figure. And it's shrouded in darkness, but you hear what sounds like a slight kind of sobbing alongside the rattle of the chains, and you can see that there are these two incredibly long lines of chain which are kind of, they look like they were dragging out towards where the door was. And you also notice on the wall next to the door there was an iron plaque where these manacles had been fastened to the wall. But it seems that at some point with the crazy journey this building has taken, the creature has been thrown around to the point where these chains have been snapped. But even though you can't see these ones moving and the figure is huddled up against the other end of this attic space, you can't quite make out clearly. You can still hear this slight sobbing, and you can still hear a rattle of chains coming from that corner.
I want to produce flame.
And Frankie's like, don't cry. It's scary. The storm's scary. Don't cry. It's okay. And he starts kind of standing up and ducking out of habit to get through the doorway to head towards the crying figure.
Okay.
Frankie, wait!
As soon
Children
as the
in storms.
flame is produced in Frankie's hand and the light is shed on this room, the figure's head snaps around instantaneously, and you see this, what looked like at some point was this humanoid mouth just kind of opens to an impossible degree, and there's just this ear-splitting, ringing scream as suddenly this thing launches itself at you, Frankie, and you just see this
Thaumaturgy.
mess
Whoa.
of... You just see a mess of chains rattling and flapping and flying all around it as it runs towards you. And could everyone make a roll for initiative, please?
I can't cast thaumaturgy and slam the door to protect Frankie.
Frankie had already stepped in the room.
Oh, darn it.
But you can shut him in there if you like.
Nope, not doing that.
Okay, let me just put what I need.
13 for Frankie.
Okay, good to know. Let me just roll as well. I rolled an 8. You're joking. Just to write down some stuff.
I got these fancy new Tiger's Eye dice for my druid, and they are not working very well.
Because you're cheating on them with a different character. All right.
Well, no, I'm a druid. These are for me. For my
Is
druid.
that a 20 from Kenku?
Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
bird gets a 20.
Next, is it the 13 from Frankie?
Yep, 13 for Frankie.
What did you roll, Birdie?
6.
6. Okay, so next is a 10 from Morgan.
Greybeards, you're the bird. I'm Birdie.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's
until
bird and
just a
birdie. It's
second
very
ago.
different.
Except on Fridays when I'm Birdie.
Right, exactly.
Okay, no, that's wrong. I can't hear. I'll get
And
a drink
technically,
now.
go by my full name, I am the birdies.
Next up, the Chain Devil, and then lastly is our good friend Bobcat. Okay, so as this thing is legging it towards you, you can see that there is already kind of blood streaking it, as if it's already been hurt somewhat by the tossing and pitching of this building. So, first up, Kenjobu.
And Kenjobu will say in Bobcat's voice, "She's not my favorite." And then longbow and just flop, flop, let him have it with a couple arrows.
Amazing. Roll for me, please.
And,
That's a hit.
You want me to roll both shots first and then?
Yeah, go for both attacks.
Okay. And sorry, I'm a little slow, but I got to type my modifiers.
Don't worry about it at all.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, those are both going to hit. Roll some damage for me, and any other like bonuses you might have. Any crazy monk shit.
Yep, I do indeed have some crazy monk shit. All right, and those are both D8 plus 4. All right. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Modifier first. Okay. So 8 and
Oh, nice.
8 and 12, and then I'm going to, as a bonus action, I'm going to spend my martial art die, my D6, to add to it. So it's like he really aims and focuses his martial arts skill and gets a 1. Oh.
So as thing is sprinting towards Frankie, and it is shrieking and hollering. The air is just filled with these horrible screams. You stay calm in the moment. You draw back your bow and you fire. One of your arrows pierces straight into the eye of this creature, and the other one kind of thunks into the side of its neck. But it just carries on running. Like for a moment, it was kind of thrown back by the sheer force of the shot, but it's still coming. Next up is Frankie. This thing is running towards you, and there's these chains flying everywhere.
All right, how far from me is it at this point?
At this point, probably 10 feet.
10 feet. He's going to step up to meet it as he's drawing both of his short swords. And he goes, right, first a bit of this. And he hits it. He stabs it with the one short sword. Let me roll. That's a 21
that's gonna
to
hit.
Let's see. Do I have anybody within 5 feet
Of you, yes. Of it, no.
of the it? No. Okay. Then never mind. So he goes. Here's a bit of this, and 1d6 plus 4, 10 points of piercing, and then he comes around with the other short sword and a bit of that. Tries to hit it again. For
Nat 20. I swear you get so many nat 20 now. It's some kind of revenge for what I did to you.
So that's another another 7 points of piercing.
Amazing. Okay, so you
Action bonus action movement.
You start eviscerating this thing right in front of you. Bits of like this iron chain just start dropping off, and you start to realize that it almost is made up. This thing is almost, its body has been made up by these chains that have been cruelly wrapped around it. And you notice as bits drop away that the one side of these chains has almost like this razor sharp like tooth on the side of it, and you realize if that hit you, it would not be pleasant. But next up is Morgan.
So Morgan is going to cast. Now I lost it. There it is. She's going to cast at the 3rd level. It is going to be inflict wounds.
Nice.
And so, oh, yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. Hold on. I lied. Maybe I didn't lie. Make a melee attack against the creature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not going to get that close. Okay. I meant to cast Guiding Bolt, not that one. I knew there was something wrong with that picture. I'm like, no. Okay, so she has...
Like, hold on, I don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that. A flash of light streaks towards the creature of your choice. Make a ranged spell check against the target. Nice. On a hit, the target takes 4d6 of radiant damage plus next attack roll made against this target before the end of your turn has advantage thanks to the mystical dim lighting glittering on the target until then. So,
pretty good.
So now I have to roll a d20 to see if I can hit him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 5. That's pathetic.
What's your spellcasting modifier? Proficiency bonus plus wisdom.
Proficiency bonus is
3.
Plus 3 plus wisdom 3.
So 6. So a total of 11.
Okay.
Unfortunately, 11 is not quite enough to hit, as perhaps the crazy way this thing is moving, your spell just kind of zings off to the side. On the plus side, it does hit the inside of the roof, and it blasts a small hole out through the roof, kind of weakening it kind of further, so you reckon it'd be pretty easy to get out through the top of this thing now.
Okay. So
would you like to do any bonus action?
I don't think I have any bonus actions, but let me see if I do.
Have you got a spiritual weapon?
Oh, I do have a spiritual weapon.
Yeah, you can summon that if you would like.
Well, I'm going to
I think you can also make an attack with it, can't you?
Yes, I can. So I am going to summon that. You create a floating spectral weapon within the range that lasts the duration or until the cast the spell again. When you cast the spell, you make a melee attack against the creature within 5 feet. On hit, the target takes damage force equal to 1d8 plus spell casting modifier.
Okay.
So,
roll
d20 again. Yep, d20 plus 6 again.
Well, that's
26.
20. You're having good luck against me today. All right,
26.
so roll the damage. Roll the damage die, and then double the die, and then add your modifiers.
Okay, so double. So it's 1d8 plus 6. Okay, hang on. 1d8 plus 6. Where's d8? D8's the like triangle thingy, right? Yep.
Yeah.
1d8. So 5, 10 plus 6 plus 6. So
16.
10. Yeah.
Fantastic. As your first spell misses, but what does your spiritual weapon look like?
My spiritual weapon is a glittering sword that is just shines like bright, and it just cuts through the air, and it leaves like the sparkly trail of things as it hits.
Amazing. This beautiful glittering sword just like slashes through the body of this thing, and you hear it kind of shriek, and it's almost as if the damage you did with your magical weapon seems to have cut through to it a little bit more than the other attacks did. As it kind of reels back, but it is now the creature's turn, and it kind of puts its eyes on you as its main source of danger. And then, as it does so, it kind of moves these enormous arms that are far too long for its body back, and then it throws them forwards at you, and the chains whip out like almost like snakes or some kind of sentient object, and slash at you. For first one, 26.
26.
Does that hit? No, not damage. Does a 26 hit you? I assume it does.
Oh yeah, it does.
Okay, and then it's going to go again because it's just kind of enraged. As the other one, yeah, you're the only one who's kind of as close to it. Actually, no, the Kenku did a lot of damage, so the other one's going to go through Kenjo, and that's a 13.
Sorry, new character.
That's
17
right.
armor class.
All right, so that one you managed to just deftly dodge out of the way. But the first one that hits Morgan, that's going to do... That one bites you for 9 points of slashing damage as these chains just, they find your skin under whatever armor you're wearing, and just with these almost like teeth pointed extrusions from the sides of the chain just rake against your flesh. And you are... Let's see... Yeah, and as this kind of hits you, the weighted chain just starts wrapping around your body, and you are grappled. Next up, it is Bobcat.
Oh, that is gonna mess up my plan.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I don't wanna do anything that's gonna hurt the bird person. Huh?
Is it Morgan that has the change, or is it the bird person that has the change? Okay.
What?
Well, Frankie,
I ducked.
Morgan. Yeah. So Frankie's right next to it,
Okay.
and Morgan is also next to it now.
Yeah,
Or is
but
it-
it's not like
okay.
it's not like occupying the same space. It's got these long chain almost like tentacles that are wrapped around her, so it's in a slightly
I just want to make sure I know who was grappled. It was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Morgan
so-
is grappled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Morgan
Okay,
is.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, but so she's grappled but not next to it?
Who's grappled,
Is that
but
what you're
she's
saying?
not in the same space of it, yeah, because these long extended chains
Oh.
whip out from it.
So it's not. So it's,
Okay,
she's not in
so
melee. Okay, got it.
I can do something to it then. Okay, sweet. So that makes things different. I still have my flame up, by the way, but I'm going to get about 10 feet from it, and I'm going to raise my hand and point my hand at it and say, I've got things to do and you're pissing me off, and I'm going to blast out a little puff of poison spray, and it has to do a Constitution saving throw
Okay.
against 15.
Well, that's a natural 1. What happens?
I get to roll 2d12 damage.
Oof.
That is math. 16.
16, nice. As
And
it's just enveloped in the stuff.
and 9. however much that is.
And
16
this
and
is
9.
So this is poison damage, yeah.
Yeah.
So this cloud, is it like a cloud or is it like in its face?
It's like a little puff cloud in its face.
So there is this kind of puff of this noxious substance around its face, and as that cloud clears, you see that this very nasty looking black ichor has kind of slimed out of the gaps between the chains around its face and just seems to have covered up any orifices and is now just seeping back inside the chains, and it doesn't look like it's taken any damage from that.
Son of a bitch.
Would you like to do any bonus actions?
No, I'm just gonna move back, as far away as I can in the same room.
Okay. Next up, we go back to the top with Kenjobu.
By the way, for resistances and such, every shot I shoot is considered magical. All my punches,
Oh, in that case,
everything.
yeah. That will change slightly what happened before. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I
Can
didn't
I-
even think about it.
Cool, that's fine.
Can I do one thing that I forgot about
Yeah?
as a bonus action? Because before he does anything, never mind. I'm gonna wait.
Okay, Kenjobu, it's up to you.
I don't know if I want to waste it. I'm sorry.
All right.
I know we have a big bad to fight, so.
We'll go back to firing my bow.
That's definitely going to hit with a 21. Did you want to roll the other attack as well?
Yeah, I'll just get them out of the way. Oh, blah.
Unfortunately, the 10 does not hit.
Arrow gone. We'll never see that
Yeah,
again.
it went through the hole in the roof. You have no idea what poor soul has met with that arrow.
And then I will use my focus die. There's a better
Oh.
bit of damage. And then my regular shot.
Oh my god, what's with all this
Yeah.
max
Woo.
damage, guys? 18 damage as yet another one of these arrows just whistles through the air and plunges deep into this writhing mass of worm-like chains.
And he says,
Whew.
bullseye!
Frankie, it's your turn. Unless you'd like to make any bonus actions?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, Frankie.
All right.
This
so
thing now looks a
Frankie's
bit
in-
like a pincushion.
All right. So Frankie's in melee with it. Morgan is another 5 feet away.
Yeah.
10 feet away from it. Okay. So there's
Yes.
nobody else in melee with the creature.
Sadly not.
All right. So he's just going to give it a bit of this nod again.
Okie dokie. Yeah,
That's
that'll
a
hit.
24. For 6.
Okay.
And a dirty 20
Yeah.
for another 3.
Fantastic. As you slash at this thing, more and more of these chains fall away until you start to have what looks like... The more you strip away from this creature, the more it looks like just the body of an emaciated, starving man underneath. He looks to be like a fairly young man, and the clothing he's wearing looks like very fine, like noble vestments. And actually, Frankie, because you're close to it, make a quick. Let's see. I want to say general Waterdeep knowledge is probably a history check.
All right. 2. Frankie
No.
is... Yeah, no.
You don't know what the
Well, he
symbols
knows
on his
water-
clothing mean.
yeah.
Nah,
Oh, no.
it's fine.
But he knows that Waterdeep is the streets.
Yeah, this is not a street fellow.
No.
Anyway, Morgan, it's now your turn. You're currently grappled by these chains. You can make a strength. Strength. Yeah, you can make a strength check to try and escape. I believe it's make a strength saving throw.
If I were to just cast Radiant Soul and turn myself into a basic angel with wings, does that negate the strength thing?
Is that your special Asimar thing? So, I do believe the wings of your radiant soul they're not quite like, are they physical or are they more like spiritual?
Incorporeal.
Yeah, so they probably won't push apart the chains, but you will still gain the benefits of that form for any subsequent like rolls or actions you might want to make. Or you can save it.
I'm gonna save it because there's still a big bad person to deal with.
Who said that?
Bobcat. Bobcat said that.
No, well, Markello said that.
It's 17.
That's enough. You managed to kind of tense, and you managed to just break 3 of these chains, ripping them off your body. You have I think you have a bonus action you can use to control the spiritual weapon if you would like.
I do, so I am going to do that.
Do a whacking.
I'm gonna get a whack in here. Hang on. Where's my dice rolly? Go dice rolly. Come on. And that one.
Unfortunately, the creature it's almost as if it's staggering under the amount of blows it's taken. It staggers to one side just as you bring down your sword and you unfortunately miss. It is now the Chain Devil's turn. You've escaped its clutches and it kind of shrieks with rage and frustration. And it sends back one of its chains back out to target you, Morgan.
Okay.
It's a 21 to hit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I only roll well for you right now, which is very unfair of me. Cool, so we're going to roll a bit of damage for that. You take 7 points of slashing damage as once again this chain rips into you, and unfortunately, because it managed to get purchased once again, it snakes around you, and after you manage to drag the last one off of you, you are unfortunately grappled again. The second attack is this time I'm going to go for Frankie, because Frankie is right up in his business. And that's a 24 to hit.
That hits Uncanny Dodge to have the damage.
Okay. Oof, that's 13 damage, halved to, I believe, 6, because everything rounds down. So you take 6 slashing damage, and you are also grappled now, because this guy is nasty, and if he hits you, you get chained. However, that is the end of its turn. It's just kind of, you both grabbed, one with each of its, like, chains coming out of its arms, and it's almost just kind of, like, looking between both of you, trying to work out what to do next. But Bobcat, it is now your turn.
Yes, and I am going to so in a turn I can produce the flame and throw it. Can I do that in reverse as well? Like throw the flame and produce a new one?
Yes, but first can I have you make a nature check for me?
Yes, you can. Have me do that. I use the right one. That would be helpful. 17 plus 5. 22.
Okay, this is your thing. So you suddenly recall in the moment, perhaps in researching strange monsters and creatures, you maybe came across fiends once and maybe read about a few of them. In that moment, you realize, of course, this is a chain devil. What else would it be? And then it clicks that, I mean, you know, the chains were a dead giveaway.
Yes.
And in that moment, it clicks in your mind that, hold on, this particular kind of fiend is immune to poison, as you unfortunately discovered, but also fire.
Even magical fire?
Oh, that's true. I'm going to say now, magical fire can damage it.
Yay! I'm gonna shoot a fire at it.
Shoot the fire. Make a range. I think it's a ranged attack to throw it.
It's just a regular spell attack.
Oh, then make a ranged spell attack.
Ranged spell attack, yeah. And then it would be 2d8, so let's see. Oh, that's a nat 20!
Fantastic. Roll some damage.
So do we just what I just rolled for? How do you do it? Everyone
Is
does
it
it
just-
different. I can never remember.
So you roll the dice and then just double the number you get plus any
Okay.
modifiers.
All right, so it's 2d8
Oof.
3 and an 8 plus 7. Well, so it would be 8 times 2 plus 7. 16
Yeah.
plus 7. I don't do math, guys.
23.
So you see that
23.
the little flame in Bobcat's hand suddenly swells up to the size of a very large watermelon. And then with an expert like American football throw, you toss this ball of fire at the chain devil, and this collides with the chain constricted face, and there's just this instantaneous horrific shriek that pierces you all right down to the bone before it staggers. And Morgan and Frankie, you feel the chains around you loosen and drop to the ground as this thing falls backwards and hits the ground dead.
I bet we're all
Take
glad
that.
that Kiku learned that one.
Poor guy.
Whew,
And
poor guy. Right. Okay.
yeah. Frankie's he does recognize the guy's robes and clothes were very fine, which means money. So he's gonna kind of start seeing if there's anything valuable.
You find that on the other end of this room, there seemed to be a very small trunk. It doesn't appear to be locked or wrapped in a way. It seems to basically be a few possessions that this thing seemed to be allowed to have. You're not really sure why it was here, you're not sure what was going on, but clearly some noble family in Waterdeep has some weird issues. But anyway, in this little this little trunk, you
What was
find
the name of that family again?
the name on the plaque was Casalata.
The Casalata. Maybe that's the family. There was a name that I saw, and it said
Casalanta?
Casalanta. Does that? Getting
Which
it?
people are weird.
Casalanta.
Yeah,
I
but
think Bobcat, if she said Castellanter, Bobcat's lived in Waterdeep his whole life, and that's a pretty prominent family, right?
Yeah.
Like, you probably know some stuff.
Yeah, if you knew about... So what you do know about the Castellan family is that they fell on hard times a few years ago, but seemed to almost rebuild their wealth almost seemingly overnight. It was a bit of a weird overnight miracle. But if you know anything more than that, roll a quick like history check with advantage for me.
Okay.
Since you do see a lot of people and hear a lot of rumors running such an establishment as you do.
Oh, that's a nat 20!
Oh boy! Okay, so
My
you
Tiger's
heard,
Eye dice are in business. And then a 9.
so you have heard rumors
Yeah!
that the Castellantas have some rumored kind of goings on with cultists, and strange reports have been heard that have got back to you on the grapevine from their villa in the castle ward. So maybe this is something to do with that. But in any case, it's dead now.
all rich people are a little, as far as Frankie's
Yeah.
concerned.
I don't know how much we gotta worry about, guys. It's dead now, but they were dealing with, like, some devils and demons and shit. You don't make that much money overnight, like, without making a deal with someone, is all I'm saying.
I mean, it all depends on who you're blackmailing. And he goes into the trunk.
All right, in the trunk, you find an arcane scroll. You're not quite sure what the spell is. You need to spend a bit longer to examine it.
And he just
also-
tosses it towards Bobcat. Scrolls don't mean anything to Frankie. He just tosses it to Bobcat.
You catch a scroll. Yeah, you do magic stuff. You recognize this is a scroll of True Strike.
Oh! Bobcat doesn't know what that means, but he'll take it.
You assume it's some kind of one single-use spell scroll. Probably quite fun. Who knows?
Yeah.
You also find in the trunk about 150 gold pieces.
Yes, we are rolling in it.
It's a rich family. and also a potion with this very dark blackish brown liquid in it.
Do I see it? Can I look at it? I see-
Frankie, do you make it? Do you show the
Oh
group?
yeah, he'd hand over the potion to Bobcat, and then he'll go. The pouch of gold. He'll hear the coins clanking, just for safekeeping, and he puts it on his belt.
If you want to try and identify it, make either a medicine or arcana check for me.
Kenjobo says in your voice, Frankie, presents for the children.
Small
18
little
plus
bird.
5.
Oh wow, yeah, that's enough. You recognize this straight away. It probably is something you might have seen before. It is a potion of bark skin.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I was hoping it was my sap or something, but I will take it. That's the only reason Bobcat is like so interested in stuff like potions, because it might be his
He's looking for a special
sap-filled thing.
Okay. And this thing is just lying there, dead on the floor. There is a sizable hole in the roof now. You feel like the ascent of this particular mansion segment has plateaued. It doesn't feel like you're descending yet, but it doesn't feel like you're rising anymore either.
So Frankie will take a running jump and jump up to catch the lip of the hole and pull himself up and see what's going on around.
All right, make a athletics or acrobatics check for me, please.
All right. And he's going to he can make a minimum of 4 feet just because of second story work. And let's do acrobatics.
As he goes
It
to
will be
jump, I
very
say,
easy.
"Wait, Frankie, take this!" And I'll shoot a fireball through the hole. So
Oh, well,
it'll light
he
up.
rolled in that 1 on his
Yeah, so
acrobatics.
as you said, wait, Frankie.
Oh no! I messed
Frankie,
him up.
you immediately clock this and you try and stop your jump halfway and just kind of land on a heap on the floor. But the fireball misses you.
I meant to do that. Yeah, so dusts himself off and then just, without saying a word, puts his hands together, sets it down, and kneels down and waits for and looks at the Kenku.
Sorry, Frankie. I was just trying to make sure you had light.
He flops his feet and jump and leaps.
All right, acrobatics check for me, please.
I should.
You can also have advantage because you are getting a pretty good helping hand from a rather pissed off Goliath.
But a very friendly one.
A very friendly one, yeah. Yeah, that'll definitely do it as you triple backflip on your way onto the roof. And with that check, you manage to duck just in time as you see some kind of barn door float by and almost kind of take your head with it. But if you want to help the others up, they will all get now advantage on their checks.
And as he was soaring through the air, he said, "I believe I can fly." And then he pulls himself up. And then while they were taking their first action, is the chains still there with the hooks?
Yeah, the long length of chain is still there.
Oh, I would have balled it up as best I could and stuffed it in a
take them with
pouch.
you. You now have some kind of chains with manacles at the end.
Are they manacles or are they the hooks?
One end had manacles
Yeah.
on because they were bolted to the wall.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so Frankie's going to try it again.
All right, so everyone making their way up, roll either athletics or acrobatics, but with advantage. Thankfully, Frankie, that's enough.
Oh,
I got a
thank God.
3 and a 19, so dirty 20.
You're good.
A 1 and a 4 for a total of 11.
11's good enough.
A 2. But technically it's not one.
Okay, so you managed to get everyone up, apart from Morgan seems to be struggling and about to kind of fall back down into the roof. Someone else can kind of give her a hand to pull her up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bobcat
Frank-
will reach down.
All right, with your combined efforts, it's enough to drag one more person up. And you're all standing on the roof of this beautiful mansion villa, but you are now probably at least 100 feet up in the sky above Waterdeep. The view around you is an absolute mess. You see chunks of buildings that have been ripped off to join this kind of floating parade of building parts. You see chunks of ground that have just been like pulled up. You see like rocks floating. You see steeples. You see bells that have been ripped out of their towers. A little bit of everything is swirling around in this maelstrom. But you can see that you're not actually that far from the top of it now. You can kind of see where it's all coalescing around this central, almost eye of the storm. And as you look up there, you can see that this glowing violet light is strongest at that point. And you can almost from here make out wisps of greyish energy and almost like this mist and fog that seems to kind of permeate and snake between the forms of buildings as everything is slowly being siphoned up into the sky.
We need to rest about 10 seconds so that you and me and Frankie don't get hit if we're going to go up there, because we don't know what's up there. We took some damage, but...
Oh, I'm fine. Frankie's like, eh. But how do we get up there?
Periodically, chunks of building and rocks will float past, just close enough for you to jump if you wanted to, and try and like jump between chunks of building like stepping stones in the air.
Before we go anywhere, I will say, listen, she's not wrong. Frankie, I need to make sure you don't die. Because I have a feeling we're not going to be able to do this without you. And also, if Pepper comes back to life, she's going to be real pissed if I let you die too. So here, at least drink this, and I'm going to give him the potion of bark skin.
Okay.
Just drink this. It'll help.
Does bark skin work if you're wearing armor?
Let's have a look.
I've actually got it right here.
Oh, you've got it. Well, you tell us.
Yep. I mean, I don't have the spell, but I have my thing here with the spells. Let's see.
See, I see it as like Bobcat might know that it's a potion of bark skin, but he doesn't necessarily know how it works. So yeah, so he's just like,
AC can't be less than 16, regardless of the armor that it's wearing.
Nice.
So I guess that would make his armor 16.
Sweet,
fantastic. How long does it last?
And it lasts 1 hour.
Oh,
that's what I was hoping for. Yes.
All right,
awesome.
Bobcat was really just crossing his fingers on that one.
He just kind of looks at his skin and goes, "That's gonna wear off, right?" It's not
eventually. Yeah, sure. I think so. I think it should. It will. You'll be fine.
And he resists the urge to take his dagger out and scratch his initials in his arm. Barely resists the urge, and then he gets ready to start climbing up rubble.
All right. How are you planning to move your way up? Are you planning to jump between bits of building and stone and brick? Are you planning to some other means at your disposal? Not that I would know what they are.
We could use a rope, tie a rope to us, and that way, if anybody falls, I mean...
Toss that chain with the hook up there.
Let's see. I was trying to think of a sound or a sound bite I could say for that, but so yeah, he rattles the bag or says, "We could use the chain for that."
Yeah, like
he starts pulling it out, like you said.
All right, so to toss the chain and try and hook one of these chunks of building that are floating past, I will probably get you to make a ranged attack roll for me.
I feel like we're in Devil May Cry right now. Like, or DMC. Sorry. DMC Devil May Cry.
I was thinking Assassin's Creed.
Thankfully, perhaps because of your ability as a marksman, even though this is a very unwieldy weapon compared to your bow, you manage to just about, almost grappling hook style, attach it to one of the large hunks of rock floating a little way away. And you can kind of pull it close enough that it'll be a lot easier for you guys to climb or jump onto it.
Okay.
Let's go
and then
up.
Yep, Frankie is going to pull out the length of rope and just kind of, he'll tie it around his waist and hand it to whoever's going to be the first person to climb up. So he's going to provide an anchor as they're climbing.
Okay, fantastic.
I'll go.
As you,
I'll
all right, could you all roll
I'll take the jump.
either acrobatics or athletics, but with advantage because you've got this kind of handy solution.
Ooh, good thing.
11? Yeah, I got a nat 1 and a 10. So 11?
Four.
All right,
You're not so
thankfully
good with the climbing. Are you, Morgan? Shouldn't you just be able to fly?
What? And weren't you supposed to have advantage?
Yeah, you do have advantage, Morgan.
Yep. Frankie rolled a 15 with advantage.
Cool.
Let me see if I put it in there. Come on. It says advantage. Now do it.
Do it.
It doesn't want to do it. It's highlighted. I don't know why it doesn't want to do it. That's not the dice I wanted anyway.
Yeah, say that was a D12.
There. Okay.
All right, the next one was good enough. You managed to get over 10, all of you, so you all managed to just about scrabble your way onto this rock. It's still, as you you get up onto it, obviously was attached to Kenjobu. Now you're all standing on it. It isn't tied down to the mansion, and it starts slowly kind of bobbing away from it, and you're moving steadily upwards as far as you can tell. Could everyone roll a perception check for me?
Uh, 10.
18?
11.
18.
All right, Morgan and Frankie, as you kind of scanning around, as you're slowly rising through the air and making sure you don't get hit by any of the debris that's flying around, you make out the shape of a pale figure standing on what looks to be the tip of a steeple that's been ripped off of a church tower. They have kind of got one kind of foot is up on the very tip of the steeple, and they're almost kind of like leaning on it as they kind of look around. And as you catch sight of them, you see the head turn and look at you. And I'm going to need Frankie to roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
Yeah, okay. An 11?
11. You hear a voice in your head. It's so calming and so gentle. There is no way this voice not have your best interests at heart. As you hear it tell you very softly, I suggest you jump.
Okay. And he walks over to the edge and jumps.
Can I grab the rope that's still tied around his waist in a reaction?
Yeah, you can. I'd like
Okay.
everyone. Firstly, you need to make a strength saving throw.
Oh, God.
Will the other two of you like to do anything as you see Frankie just turn and try and jump off the edge of this rock?
Yeah, dive for the rope.
I got a 9.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive for the rope.
Okay, both of you two, please make you both make dexterity saving throws as you're trying to catch it before it falls.
Okay.
Me or no?
No, because you've definitely caught it because you were
okay.
closest. You're just trying to hold
Okay.
onto it.
Okay.
Manipulating dice. And, you said
Oh, wow.
dex
Nope, that's not
saving?
right.
Dex saving throw, yeah.
Okay.
4. Maybe.
Morgan
Anything
loves
gets up
force.
I apparently do.
15?
Come on, roll.
All right, Bobcat, you feel yourself starting to slip off of this rock. You are a lot smaller than Frankie,
I
but
am.
Just as you're worried you're about to tumble over the edge, both Morgan and Kenjobu dive for the edge of the rope and just about manage to catch it before you are both sent careening off the edge of the stone. However,
guys.
Frankie, you are now suddenly dangling over 100 feet of space and crashing debris below you, but your mind clears and you suddenly realize the predicament you're in.
He immediately vomits. Because where'd it go? I mean, he can get up on a building, but he doesn't look down. And now he's like, and then realizing that he does have that, there's also a rope constricting him. He's like, and he just grabs the rope, and he's not. Don't look down. 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 And he climbs back up the rope.
All right, roll either acrobatics or athletics for me, and you can have advantage because all the other three are holding on to it.
Oh, thank God, because
And
I should
pulling
do
at
what
the same time.
but I know.
Yeah, exactly. It was a close one. As long as two of you passed the checks to try and save him, it was going to be okay.
Oh my
And
god.
of course, this time I rolled a 19 and an 18, so a total of
Absolutely.
26.
You scrabble back up to the surface of this large hunk of stone fairly quickly. And
The lady said that. Did the lady? Why would she tell me to jump?
Frankie, don't listen to the lady. That's the bad lady. We've talked about this.
But
She's not my favorite.
See?
In Bobcat's voice
What
again.
he said.
Well, I
you
mean,
all hear a very
said.
Makes sense.
light and fairly high-pitched kind of laughter coming from above you, and now the rest of you can all see the woman standing on the steeple, and she's kind of doubling over as if she's just played the most hilarious joke in the world.
I shoot a fireball at her.
All right, roll to hit for me.
Damn it. Hate this lady.
Oh, I make
Oh.
a dex throw, isn't it? Actually, is that how it works with fireball?
Oh, I
it's me
forgot.
making a
I
dex
don't
saving throw.
Well, not a fireball, a flame, I mean.
Produce flame.
No, it's a ranged spell attack.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it was 14.
14. That is
Yeah.
actually going to hit. All right, roll some damage for
Exactly
me.
what happens when I hit her. So that is going to be 2d8.
Nice oof.
That is 6 and is 12. Yeah.
12 damage, all right. You see, as she's laughing, she clearly wasn't expecting this sudden gout of flame to come hurling out of midair at her. And you see it strike her, and it strikes the edge of the pale cloak, which slowly starts to smolder, and you see the flames lick up this cloak that she's wearing. And it's definitely damaged her. You can see there is a definite burn going up her arm. But with this kind of savage kind of expression, she rips off this cloak and just kind of throws it down before the flames can spread any further. And she looks at you, and the laughter has definitely stopped now. And she turns and full-on leaps off of the steeple. And you see her kind of fall through the air for a moment before she lands on a flat area of ground, this chunk of what looks to be some kind of village square. That's the whole thing has just been ripped out of the ground, and you see her walking away from you, and as this thing starts to rise, you lose sight of her over the edge of it.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
Who's gonna go
Okay.
after?
There is
Yeah, I think
probably
so.
about 50 feet between you and her, that platform that she's standing on at the moment.
Can we undo the chain? Frankie's going to look at the Kenku and he's going to start undoing the chain so that they can throw the chain to connect to the other piece.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
All right, so he gets it undone and he starts whirling it around his head almost
All
like
right,
a
roll
grappling.
a ranged attack for me.
All right. That's 25.
That's definitely going to do it. You definitely, as if you've used hundreds of grappling hooks before, managed to attach it cleanly to the edge of this platform. This is, however, a much longer climb than the one you had before. But you are now attached, and you may now attempt it if you wish.
I think you're muted.
I was going to say I can't hear.
Okay, be right back.
Sorry, I do this all the time. So Frankie's gonna he throws it up. It catches.
You succeed.
Holding
Yeah.
on to the end of the chain. He's got the rope still tied around him. He's like, all right, grab the rope, start climbing, and he's going to again be the anchor between these two pieces while they climb up.
All right. Now this is, as I say, a slightly more significant climb than the last one. Who would like to go fast?
Kenjobu.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, cool. So in order of how you're traveling, could you each please roll either acrobatics or athletics checks for me?
Okay. 20.
Okay. Pretty good.
Oh, it didn't work. How nice of it. I did it! 21.
That 20.
All right.
Yeah, she rolled a nat 20.
Fantastic. You're all making great headway along this chain, and Frankie, you can see that they are indeed managing it. Like, much better than last time, even though this is a much bigger gap to try and traverse somehow. And as they're about halfway along top, halfway to the top, Frankie, you notice that just beyond the lip of that platform that the woman disappeared around, you see a few kind of flashes of light.
Huh. So he's kind of holding on to it, but his attention now is not on what they're climbing up, but he's looking over at the flashes of light, trying to figure out what they are.
Roll an Arcana check for me.
Ooh, a 12.
Okay, yeah, you've seen this enough times to have an idea of what this is. This looks like the flash that you saw when you guys opened the rift in the Underdark to step through into the material plane. And just as you hear this, you hear a sudden kind of sound, and
Damn it, Rachel!
And look, at least it wasn't snakes this time, okay?
I don't know how you do these things with your face.
And the rest of you feel a shadow pass over the top of you as you see a giant eagle swooping down over the top of this platform, and it is making a beeline for all of you. It looks incredibly confused and about to lash out at anything that it doesn't understand right now. And Frankie, you kind of get the impression it's been dragged out of some other plane, probably to stall you.
Bobcat.
Yeah.
It's a big bird.
Bird, we're friends! Quit it!
And you speak beast, right?
Yeah.
Alright, make a persuasion check. With your wonderfully persuasive line, "Bird, we're friends, quit it."
The
best
accused him of
influence.
being quick-witted, okay? I got 8.
Yeah, she's talking to a beast. You know.
They only understand simple things, okay?
The giant eagle's head snaps around as it looks at you, almost as if you shouted an insult towards it, and it's gonna dive bomb towards you. Could you make an acrobatics check to see if you make it to the top of the ridge before it gets to you?
I can. Acrobatics. I got an 8 again.
An 8. Alright, you are not quite there when this thing streaks past you with talons outstretched. And it tries to get an attack in you, but that's a natural 1, so it fails as it just kind of screams past you. And this will give you enough time for the rest of you to scramble to the edge of this lip of this platform. Frankie, you are still on the surface of the floating rock that you are kind of tethered to.
Right. He's gonna once they're all up, then he'll climb up the chain behind them.
All right. As you're climbing, like you are now the most obvious target. The eagle whirls around and tries to make another pass as you're climbing.
All right.
Just because you're a bit more prepared this time, roll initiative for me.
All right.
Oops, did not mean to open Steam.
That's another 13 for initiative.
Awesome. Let's have a look. That was not meant to be an 8. Ignore that. Let's try again. Oh, okay, 4. So this thing is diving at you. You have a moment to do something before it gets to you.
You're muted.
I swear someday I'm going to learn how to undo that. So, Frankie's a rogue. He's used to climbing. He's a thief. This is what he does. And so what he's going to do is he's actually going to, as if he was shimmying up a pipe, he's going to cross his legs to, with his ankles to hold on with the, onto the chain, freeing up his hands. And the first thing he's going to do is he's going to pull his dagger, and he's going to throw it at this eagle.
All right. Roll a ranged attack to throw your dagger.
All right. He goes, "Here, go up to something else," and he throws the dagger for a nat 20.
All right. Roll me a bit of damage.
Dang.
That's
goodness.
max dam. Yep.
That's max dam. That's 16 plus 4, 20 points damage. You launch this dagger towards the eagle, and it strikes true. The eagle looks shocked. It doesn't seem to be used to land-based creatures fighting back with such veracity that you just managed. It takes another look at you. This look of confusion only deepens, and it seems to think better of continuing to harass you as it turns and flies off in the direction of the mountains on the other side of Waterdeep. Alright, and you are now free to climb up towards the top. However, the rest of you, as Frankie is about to join you, please could you all roll perception for me?
$21.
Apparently, I keep throwing the wrong dice. But you know, hey.
Still pretty good. Alright. Okay, so Morgan and Birdie, you have seemingly reached pretty much as high as you can get in this maelstrom. There is still stuff swirling all around you, but you are definitely in the eye of the storm, and on the highest part of detritus you can see this, as I said before, looks a bit like some kind of village square that's been ripped up. It's an area of just flat ground, almost kind of 50 feet across. If anything, it kind of looks like the level Final Destination in Smash Bros. And you have this kind of flat hunk of rock just kind of floating in the sky. On the other side, you can see the woman in grey and white. And now that this long hooded cloak has been burnt up and tossed aside, you can get a better look at her face. You see the face of what looks like a young elven woman. The slightly pointed ears and this very pale blonde hair with this incredibly pale greyish skin. She looks honestly ill. You can see that her eyes have almost clouded over white. And she is wearing what looks like a fine silver chain with some kind of rectangular amulet at the center of it around her neck. Behind her, you can see 3 vast portals, and these portals are themselves like 50 feet across. They bask the area all around you in this piercing violet white light, and through these portals you can see what looks like an endless misty grayish sky with wisps of purpley gray mist just kind of floating. But other than that, it's a complete empty nothingness that's slowly sucking the material of Waterdeep through these portals and into what you can only assume to be the astral plane that is whipping up this current of kind of destruction below. And she seems to be channeling the energy through this pendant around her neck, this rectangular amulet, and is on one hand concentrating on these portals, on the other hand is staring at all of you.
How far is she from us at this point?
She is on the other end of this platform, so 50 feet in total.
50 feet, okay.
Yeah. And there are still parts of buildings that are just kind of drifting slowly past you, and bits of furniture and tile and all sorts of detritus and mess that are swirling all around this comparatively calm patch of sky.
Everyone is within 30 feet of me, right?
Yeah.
All of my compatriots? All right. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just because he doesn't really understand still how to do these things, he's just gonna go, okay, guys, just wait here a second. Bear! And then his spirit bear is going to appear, and he's gonna be like, all right, I did it! And then all of us are gonna get 11 temporary hit points, and we all gain advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws while we are within that aura. So as long as they are near me within the 30-foot radius at that point. Wait. Sorry. Let me read this from the beginning because I'm going backwards and confusing myself. As a bonus action, I can magically summon the bear to a point I can see within 60 feet of me. So as long as it's near enough to all of us. It creates an aura in a 30-foot radius around that point, and it counts as nothing, and then I can move it up to 60 feet as a bonus action. So as long as we're within 30 feet of it, we always have the plus 11, and then we get the advantage on strengths and strength saving throws while we're within 30 feet of the bear. Oh my god, there's so many pieces to that.
So just as you succeed in casting the spell, you feel that rush of like, fuck yeah, I did the thing.
Yeah, there.
You hear that the woman on the other side of this battlefield, she laughs and says, Bobcat, you never fail to amaze. I'm so pleased you made it. Have you come to give me the rest of my cards?
I have come to destroy you and your dumb face.
Well,
Frankie just peeks over the edge and goes, Bear!
The woman laughs again and says, well, by all means, please go ahead. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
$19.
Awesome.
14.
And that one for a total of 5.
Woo! Natty 20!
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
24.
Okay. Ken Jobu, you are starting us off with a roll of 24.
Right.
Next up is Morgan with a 14. Or what did you get, Birdie?
18.
19.
19.
19. Gets better and better.
19. Yep. It was
Okay,
18 plus
Morgan
1. 19.
gets 14. Adamus gets 9. And Frankie gets a tragic 5.
Very tragic.
You're batting cleanup, that's all.
All right, Kenjubu, it is your turn.
You needed Frankie. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, I just want to point out that the rogue is going after the cleric. This doesn't happen often.
No, he doesn't. Bobcat, could you make for me a really quick perception check, since you were kind of exchanging banter with the woman?
5.
Yeah, you didn't notice anything. That's fine.
No, it's fine. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. Was that Ken's first attack?
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, the 26 will certainly hit.
Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of go whole hog here. So we're gonna. This is the shot itself. Oh, dang it! And then I get my D4. And then I'm going to spend a key point, because I haven't spent them yet, and roll another D6 for damage. So I'm going all Super Son, Mega Focus, you know, they do that. Yeah, they go, up in its...
All his feathers
the
fluff up
target.
like a Studio Ghibli film.
Yeah. And another 6. And remember, they all count as magic attacks.
Yeah,
for
they all
resistance.
count as smash attacks. So a total of 15?
Yep, correct.
Amazing. This, you are quicker on the draw than anyone else. As you draw back and fire, and this arrow flies straight and true, and indeed it sinks deep into the woman's shoulder. You see her kind of take a step back as her body reels from the impact, and you see the stain of the blood now welling up through this greyish white clothing. But she doesn't seem to be reacting as if she's in like a lot of pain, even though you can see it's definitely done some damage. Okay, Birdie,
Yes,
it's your turn.
it is. I have to make a decision is all, and I wanted more time to do that. It's fine. So man, I know there's one thing that I want to do that's like probably the right thing to do, and then there's one thing I want to do that's like the cool druid thing to do. So I think I'm gonna do the cool druid thing, because I've never been a druid before and I want to do druid stuff. So I am gonna conjure animals, and I'm gonna conjure 2 giant vultures,
Amazing.
and I almost conjure them to eat up that eagle, show it who's boss, but fine. So I'm going to summon 2 giant vultures, and so they're considered, because of my 6th level druid circle feature, they are going to be considered magical attacks for overcoming resistance, and they get +2 hit points per hit dice that they have, so blah, 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 blah. And I have to roll for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like me to do that now?
Yeah, you might as well.
Individually or together? Together, right? Or doesn't matter?
Roll them together so we have fewer numbers to
Okay.
track.
Okay, they are gonna get 15,
Nice.
and they also get pack tactics when they're within 5
Nice.
feet of blah 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 blah. And
Lovely.
that is my turn, I think.
Okay, so
I can't have them do anything yet.
I think they come in the
No.
next round. So
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you see this this pair of giant vultures just. Where do they come from? Do they just zoom to your side, like you just whistled them from the zoo, or do they manifest out of something?
I think that they're vultures, so they're not gonna be like dive bombing from the sky or anything like that. I think you just kind of see them slowly rise up from behind me. Like you aren't really sure where they came from. Do they come from the ground? Do they come from the sky? Like whatever. It's just all of a sudden behind me, there's 2 just like giant vultures.
Amazing.
I don't know what sound vultures make, but that seems right.
All right. So how far away from you are they? They're just basically behind you.
Right now they're behind me, and I haven't done anything with them yet.
Okay. Cool. Okay, Morgan, it is your turn.
So I am going to cast Magic Circle at the 3rd level, which will keep out elementals, fae, fiends, or undead.
Yeah.
The creature cannot willingly enter the cylindrical by non-magical means. If the creature tries to use teleportation or interplanetary travel to do so, it must first succeed at a charisma saving throw. The creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets within the cylinder. Targets within the cylinder cannot be charmed or frightened or possessed. This spell is cast in the reverse direction, preventing the creature from leaving preventing a creature from the creatures that I aforementioned from leaving and protecting targets outside of the circle. So basically, it can't get in and we can't get out. So
Yeah, you can either
It's,
put us inside of it or put her inside of it.
yeah, well, we're putting her
And this
inside of it.
is this just affecting like fiends, elementals, celestials, that list, or is it affecting everyone?
Well, it can't affect celestials specifically because then it will affect me.
But does it affect like normal, like mortal creatures, or
No, just elemental, fae, fiends, or undead. But if I'm gonna converse it in a no, I'm not doing that.
what's the width of the magic circle? How big can you make it?
10 feet by 10 foot radius and 20 feet tall.
Okay.
That was pretty nice and big. So it's just there in case she decides to throw things at us because we don't know what her magic tricks are. So
So is this? Are
There's
you
that.
casting it around her or around you guys?
around us.
Okay. All right. Would you like to do anything else on your turn?
I have a bonus action somewhere. I do. So I summon the spiritual weapon.
Yeah.
Let's see how my D20 is behaving
She
now.
is 50 feet away from you, so I don't think you can get it close enough to attack her this turn.
I don't know.
The range is
It's-
60 feet to cast.
Oh, is it? Can you move it
Yeah,
60 feet when you summon it, though?
You
Yeah,
cast it at a point within range.
Rad. Okay, cool. You can tell
Yeah,
I don't play
so-
many clerics.
Yeah, you
I
cast
play a
it
lot
at
of
floating
clerics.
spectral weapons. You cast a spell, you make a melee attack with your thing within 5 feet of the weapon, and
Awesome.
it takes equal. Yeah, so there you go. Oh,
So
it has
is that
bonus
the
action on-
is the 14 your roll?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So with a 14, you see the swords strike down and smash into her, and you can see it definitely impacts. However, just as it hits, there is this kind of almost like hazy violet light that just resists the spell as it slides off. And in that moment, you realize that she's got some kind of mage armor active.
Okay. Okay, so doesn't do any damage, but cool. We're a little.
But it's
protected.
there, and it's there for you to use.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, it is now her turn as she looks to Bobcat specifically and grins. Well, I suppose that stops me summoning anything particularly fun. However, how about I bring back an old friend of yours, Bobcat? And you see her whip out a card from inside like her lapel pocket. And you cannot quite see what's on the card, but as she almost kind of flicks up in the air, catches it, and then slices down as if she's cutting into the very kind of fabric of reality. And through this kind of slash in the air in front of her, a hulking giant boar steps out and in front of her into the arena, as it were. So I'm just going to roll initiative for this buddy. Nice. Cool. And with her second action, she holds her hand forward towards all of you and says, "Hey, now, you're looking a little bit clustered together over there." And she is going to cast Fireball. Where's it gone? It's fireball's fine. Don't worry. And have you spread out since you actually got on top of the kind of platform, particularly?
Well, I think Frankie's just now coming up over the edge.
Yes.
So
you're coming up over the edge. The two vultures are just behind you.
where did
firing
Cat
from distance.
I haven't moved from where I was. Wherever that... I came up over the top and stood and haven't moved.
Don't think any of you have done any like movement that's been declared. So can everyone please roll a dexterity saving throw for me?
Yep.
Oh, crap. So that's an 11.
I got a 14.
14. Let me just double check what the spell save DC is. Okay.
And we'll definitely be doing an uncanny dodge on this.
Okay. Oh, why does it like
Do I need to roll a dex save for the vultures?
Yes, because they are just behind you.
Oh, they got a 19.
Okay, so it looks like everyone apart from Frankie is going to take half damage, and Frankie's going to take half damage anyway because of uncanny dodge. So I'm just going to roll these twice because I can only roll groups of 4 at a time. Alright, so you all take, that's 27, halved down to 1. You'll take 13 points of fire damage as this fireball is thrown towards you and bursts, and you are all kind of almost thrown back from the impact. Thankfully, none of you are thrown off of the platform, but you all sustain some unpleasant burn damage.
Thank God for temp HP.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And she is then going to move. So she's actually going to put herself... she's going to put herself behind the giant boar, which is big enough that it's going to afford her probably at least half cover. And then here we are onto Frankie's turn.
All right, so with Frankie's going to finish getting up on the platform. How far away is the boar and the woman from Frankie?
They are 50 feet on the complete other side of this platform.
Right, bonus action to dash.
Yep.
He is going to ignore the boar and get to her.
Okay. So that's going to provoke an attack of opportunity from the boar.
Okay. All right.
You can't just run around it?
Yeah. I guess I'm trying to figure out. So there's a boar, and she's right behind the boar.
Yeah. So basically, she's got the edge of the platform, like pretty close to where she is standing.
So if he's standing sideways to her, he's still within 5 feet of that boar. If the boar's directly in front of him, her, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what he's doing. So he's still within melee range of that boar. He's not going to leave its range just to stand next to her. And
okay. Yeah, that works.
and he's just not going to say a word. He's just going to take the sword and attack her with it.
Okay, go for it.
Because this is beyond everything else. And I don't think an 11's going to hit.
11 does not hit her. You strike out with the sword and you feel it glance off of this shimmering violet mage armor.
He's just towering over her, just staring down at her.
She is very, very petite.
Yeah. Squash you. All right, that's his turn.
Okay. Next. Okay, we're back at the top. Ken Jobu. There's a big pig now.
He's big, big. Yes.
I have faith that the big pig will vanish if the summoner goes down, so we're gonna shoot at her.
All right, and she has half cover, so she gets an additional 2 to her AC.
Yep. Okay.
Cool.
Oops, and I gotta keep putting in the mod. All right.
Yeah. Oof, that's a beautiful hit.
All
You
right.
managed to arc your arrow somehow. Oh my god, a natural 20!
Hell yeah.
Woo! Okay.
Alright, roll me some damage.
Bounced it off the cover. Okay. And so, +4. This is the first one. So, 11. And then the second one, that's +4.
So that's 3
but
double
that
to
one-
6. That's a 10.
Okay. All right. And then
Amazing.
we'll spend the key and the Kensei power. So those are those extra damage. 3.
We are now on 20... 21, 24, 25.
Yep.
Alright, a total of 25 damage as you expertly arc 2 quickfire arrows, managing to miss both the pig and Frankie to hit the woman that's kind of behind the boar. And Frankie, you see these 2 arrows strike.
And to get all that damage, I need to use my bonus action. So I'm good. I'll move to the very edge of the bear circle or area. And try to not leave the bear or the magic circle, but flank. So I want to kind of be way to the side so I can still fire, but not as grouped up.
Okay. Birdie, is your turn.
Yeah, so I am going to. I'm gonna need you guys to help me with math, first of all. Don't laugh at me. I am going to shoot a lightning bolt in a line in front of me to hit the pig and the lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And that's 8d6. Yeah. So let's all count together, kids.
What's her deck?
So they have to make dex saving throws?
They have to make dex saving throws, yeah.
Okay, I'll do that while you do your damage.
2 plus 3
5,
plus 3
8,
Okay.
plus 5
13,
plus 2
15,
plus 2.
17,
How many rolls is that?
6. 6 rolls. I got you, boo. 20. You have one more
so
roll.
bad at math. 5. 25.
20.
Alright, so the woman rolled a 17 and the boar rolled a 14.
Okay, so the woman takes half damage and the boar takes all of it.
Alright, so...
And I'm gonna tell you tell me what happens.
Okay, yeah, so the boar is going to take that full amount of damage.
Okay.
And that's was it
but
25?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But he's still up.
Yeah, still up.
All right, I'm gonna yell at my vultures, and I'm gonna say, "Kill that pig!"
Amazing. Okay, the woman takes half damage, so that was 25. Yes. That'll be round down to 12. So she takes 12 points damage.
Yep.
Yeah. Ouch. She is looking...
Ouch.
As if she's swaying slightly, as if she wasn't expecting the barrage to be quite as strong as it was. And there's something like weird about the way her head is kind of lolling to the side. And it is now... Oh, it's now the boar's turn. Okay. So the boar...
Wait, what did the boar get?
Huh? The boar got 16.
Oh. What did my vultures get? I forgot.
15. I wrote it down, don't worry.
I was all excited for the vultures to go next. I'm sorry.
Alright, so Frankie, you are in melee with the woman, aren't you?
And the boar.
And the boar. Okay, so when you're in melee with someone, as long as you're within 5 foot, it can be anyone around you, right?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So, the boar's gonna try and like do a standing shove from where it is, try and gore you and throw you off of the edge of the platform.
Okay.
These pigs really do not like Cleric.
No.
They really don't.
But you know what? I have 2 pounds of bacon in my fridge, so I'll have mine.
Nice.
All right. Will a 16 hit you?
That is exactly the AC with the armor.
Oh, okay. So it beats. It is going to smash into you, and firstly, it's going to deal. Where's the actual damage on this thing? There it is. All right, you're going to take 11 points of piercing damage as you feel the tusks of this creature sink into you, and I would
Actually-
like.
This is a new round, correct?
Yes.
Reaction to have that.
Okay, cool.
You can
So
uncanny
you
dodge?
take. Yeah, absolutely. You're going to take 5 damage, and if you
Okay.
could please make me a strength saving throw.
All right. Oh dear, that's a 4.
Oh. All right. So the rest of you.
You have advantage on strength saving throws. You have advantage.
That's right.
What was the radius of
Bear!
your? What was the bear radius? The barrier?
Am I within the 30-foot radius of the
No,
bear?
you were 50 feet from the bear, I believe.
But the bear's not right next to me.
Oh,
So
did
the
you
bear,
make it?
Yeah, like in the center of the space.
All right,
so
then
that
you
it
are
would be
just
30
within
feet
the
around that.
radius.
Right, so that's a 10.
Okay, you rolled a 10, which unfortunately does not what it needed to.
Nope.
We
So
tried.
the rest of you look on, and you see the boar just turn and smash its enormous face into the Goliath. There is a moment where the Goliath and the boar are wrestling for control, but just as it looks like Frankie's going to get the better of this boar, his foot slips over the edge of the platform, and Frankie, you start to fall and plummet over the edge. And we will get back to you in a minute.
I would like
it
to
is
point
now-
out that Frankie does have a rope tied around his 50 feet of
This
rope
is
that is
true.
tied around his waist and trailing behind him. So
Yeah, there is rope trailing behind you as you fall. It is now the vulture's turn.
Yeah, vultures. So if it's all the same to you, I'm gonna use like the average damage for them, so I don't have to do a bunch of math. And is that
Sure,
okay?
whatever makes your day better.
Okay, it's like 2d4 plus 2, or we could just say 7. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say 7.
Fine.
So I've got 2 vultures. Each vulture has 2 attacks, and each vulture, because they will be next to each other, will have pack tactics, which means
All right.
advantage on all of their attacks. So here we go.
If you're moving them sequentially, though, sorry, just to nitpick. If you're
Yeah.
if you're taking their turns individually, if you move and then attack with one, the other one won't be.
I kind of they fly together, like zoom, and then attack at the same time. Is what this
Okay,
is what I
but they're
had
two
pictured it.
separate creatures, so their turns don't necessarily occur at the same. I mean, yeah, I can kind of. I know what you're going for. It's just I'm going to bend the rules here because, like, in
Okay.
D&D rules, it wouldn't work. But I'm going to let you do it because it's more
Oh,
fun.
okay. I mean, tell me no if you want. I've never had 2 creatures to control before, so.
No, go for it. Go for it. It's more fun. Go for it.
Okay. All right. So we've got a +4 to they're both gonna go in with a beak attack. So that's
Beak
+4 to
attack.
hit. That's no, but we'll do advantage. So that's a 16 + 4. That's a non-natural 20.
Okay.
And then the second one is only an 8, so it doesn't get it. But the first one hit
Yeah.
him for 7. Hit the boar for 7.
The boar for 7. Okay.
Yeah.
This into the boar for 7 damage.
Now they're both going to go in with talons, which is
Okay.
also a +4 to hit. That's nothing, but we'll advantage it. Oh, nat 20!
Oh, wee.
And a 13 + 4.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely gonna whack the board. You have one more attack left.
No, that's the only attack. So the first one would be 9 times 2, so
Yep.
18.
Yeah.
The second one was 9.
All right, as you strike down into the boar, both of these vultures go to town, and the boar is trying to fight them off at the same time, but is just not able to, and the boar is basically borne aloft and pulled apart by these vultures.
Yes!
And the boar is no more.
They're each gonna grab a little gizzard or whatever pigs have inside of them.
I don't think pig tick is
Eat one.
something else a bird thing.
I'm a terrible druid, I'm sorry.
Okay, Morgan, it is your turn.
You're
Oh,
muted.
I think you're muted.
Boom. I pulled a
Sorry?
Eric. Okay, so I am going to find my spell sheet that I had bookmarked so carefully. And I'm going to hit my racial trait of Divine Soul. So she transforms into this big flying angel with 2 incorporeal wings. And she gets additional 6 radiant damage to the target.
Wow.
So then she's going to cast Guiding Bolt. And so I gotta roll. And that one, of course. That's super.
You win some, you lose some. Okay, the guiding bolt ricochets just past the woman as she kind of ducks. You still have the spiritual weapon up if you'd like to try and whack without your bonus action.
Plus spell attack. Plus 6. Okay, so actually, I'm going to use my bonus action. That is Healing Word, because I need to heal myself. And so I get 1d4 of that plus my healing. So I'm going to roll that wherever I can find it. What's the weird dice? I think that's the weird get. A 3 plus a something. 3 plus something. I don't know what I'm plussing. But anywho. So I'm gonna do that.
The hell? You keep me right here for?
Okay, cool. So now I've
Okay.
got hit points. Sorry, that was my mother, and she just.
That's right. All right,
Off
so
we go.
you've healed some hit points. So it's now the woman's turn, but just before I do that, Cleric, could I get you to roll me another initiative score for me and just let me know what that is?
I pre-did that for you, and that was a 17.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So the woman is kind of shuddering a little bit and doesn't look quite right. And as she starts to speak, her voice fluctuates from the light and kind of more kind of whimsical tone she had before to a more hollow, slightly deeper sounding voice. And she says, "Did my father put you up to this?" And she's kind of shaking as she says that, and she is going to start. As she lurches forward, she draws another card from the kind of robes she's wearing, and almost drunkenly, she scans around, and then her eyes focus on Bobcat, being the one summoning extra like fighters into this fray, and as she does so, she flicks a card out, and she doesn't slice through the wall of reality this time. And this is possibly one of the first times you've seen this. She holds the card in front of her, and the card starts to glow this dark, pulsing purple energy. And with her other hand, she points at you, Bobcat, as she moves forward about 20 feet. as she kind of is running towards you, and you see these pale, white, milky eyes almost lose focus as you hear these words kind of come from her mouth in a language you can't understand. And I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw, please, as she casts the light.
Fine. What does that say? Okay. I got a dirty 20.
Oh, amazing. Okay, that's gonna make the save. So you're gonna
Yay!
take half damage from this. So that's going to be where have you gone, little guy? There you are. So you are only going to take a total of 6 necrotic damage. You just feel this aura of like deep chill wash over you, and you just almost feel like you're shuddering where you stand, that this unpleasantness passes over you.
Yeah.
And she is then going to she's going to move back 10 feet, so she's a little bit further away from you, and is then going to what's she gonna do? Man, it's hard thinking for like a very sentient character sometimes. She is then going to, with her second action, she takes, interestingly, you didn't notice this before, she actually has a, almost like a bandolier that she was wearing under her cloak with these, like, several daggers into it, and she is going to, she's going to take one of these daggers, and she seems to be almost confused. She seems to be like conflicted within herself, as one of her hands is trying to like cast something, and the other one is holding back. And at the last minute, she takes the dagger and she is going to throw that at you. So she's going to get a plus. Ooh, quite a lot to this. But I don't think that's good enough to hit you.
What?
It was an 11. Oh yeah, you haven't got fancy grounds
Nope.
open. Alright, so
No,
she
it's
stumbles forward and throws this dagger towards you, but it misses. It seems like for a moment she was completely off kilter, as if something was going strangely weird with her. And then just as you start to think, oh, this will be, this might be okay if she can't really control herself, you see a shape start to emerge through the one of the astral portals.
Oh, good.
Your favorite. Frankie, it is your turn. You are falling. At the start of your turn, you've probably fallen another 20 feet, so you've probably now fallen about 40, 50 feet at this point.
Whoops. That would put him how close to the piece that they climbed up from, which is still...
See, that
it
piece
still
was
there?
quite... Compared to this piece, it's a lot smaller, and it was over the other side that you climbed up from, so that isn't
Okay.
actually directly below you.
Okay, so Frankie's just like, right, okay. There is nothing he can do at this point. So he's just going, because I don't think short swords have a throwing range on them. Let me just double check to be sure. Short swords.
I mean, you
no,
can throw
cannot
anything,
them.
can't you?
Well, yeah, but it
Just
doesn't
throw it
have
at
a throwing
disadvantage.
range. Yeah, so he's just at this point, Frankie's just like, well, it was fun, and he's almost kind of in a position where he's not looking down, because looking down is scary. So he's just kind of in the air going, all right, this is happening. Almost like this at this point, kind of looking up, because
He's so chill about all
don't
of
look,
this.
don't look down, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down. Maybe it won't hurt if I don't look down.
All right, and then we're back at the top with Ken Jobu. It is your turn.
All right. Noticing Frankie went over the edge, he his feathers quiver because he's like, kill the woman, save the Goliath. And then he rushes to the side and he slides on his bird feet. And then as he's doing it, he rips out the chain and he's going to try to whoosh and catch Frankie with the chain over the edge.
Okay. Make a ranged attack, but at disadvantage because Frankie is like 60 feet underneath you at this point.
Okay.
It's a long way to try and reach with the chain.
All right, and I can just click the disadvantage button
With this button.
and go.
Fortunately, 11 isn't quite enough as you try and reach with this swirling chain, and it almost brushes past Frankie as you see him getting smaller and smaller in your vision, but it's not quite enough to catch him as he plummets. Birdie, it is your turn.
Switch buttons. Okay, it is my turn. I want to check something really quick. Okay, so I am. Nothing has actually appeared out of the portal yet, right? It's just
No.
appearing.
So you can see what looks like these weird ethereal kind of shapes like swirling just on the other side.
Yeah. All right, I am going to. Man, that's tough. That's really tough. I have options and I don't know which one to use. Okay, so I'm just gonna do lightning bolt again. Let's all count together. And I will have you do a dexterity saving throw. Yeah. All right.
Oh dear, this was a bad one.
Oh, good. 8d6. 2 plus a 4 plus a 4.
10.
That was a cocked die. Sorry. Plus a 2
Okay, 12.
plus a 6
18.
plus a 6
24.
plus a 6
Oh my god!
30.
plus a 3
33 total.
33.
33 is this almighty bolt of lightning just crackles out from you. And do you do you cast it with your totem or your hands? Like, how do you create this?
So I would. What did I make my totem? Oh, it comes directly out of my totem, which is a necklace. It's a necklace. Let's pretend that this black thing is a displacer claw, a displacer beast claw. I've made a necklace out of it it's got a displacer. I can't say it. Displacer beast claw. And you just see this like bolt. Yes, like that. And you just see this lightning bolt just shoot out of my chest, like directly from this. And I would imagine it's like oddly enough, it's like a black lightning. It's not like the traditional white lightning. Yeah.
Yeah, this hits her full on in the chest. She is thrown backwards and takes an almighty amount of damage. In fact, she is like knocked prone by the sheer impact of this bolt. You can see her stirring. It doesn't look like she is quite dead. However, since you did hit her exactly in the chest where she was wearing this metal necklace, the amulet, you see the portals above your head. They start to fuzz and go as they start to flicker.
Okay.
But as you see that, you also feel a shuddering as whatever strange gravity is affecting all of the rocks and things you are standing on starts to flicker just as the portals do.
Oh, God, we're all gonna fall to our deaths. Okay, well, before we fall to our deaths because of that, I'm gonna instruct my vultures, go get Frankie the Goliath. I don't know if they know his name. Go get the Goliath that fell off the edge and bring him back up here.
All right, how far can they go in a turn?
60 flying feet.
Okay, so they can essentially get like almost to Frankie. Bear in mind that Frankie is still like obviously falling as everything is happening. So they're essentially dive bombing, like trying to dive like Peregrine Falcon at the same rate as Frankie is falling. Actually, it's not their turn yet. Sorry, it's someone else's turn.
Right. But also, I would like to point out that Frankie still has a rope trailing behind her that a beak might potentially grab onto.
That's
or a
true.
talon.
However, before the vultures can act, Frankie, you are falling. You've not made peace with the fact that you are probably falling to your death, but you've certainly come to terms and accepted this as a simple fact of life, or in your case, death. And you're not looking at the ground, so rather than seeing the ground hurtling up to meet you, you are instead watching the platform where you've just left your friends behind to battle this sorceress, slowly getting further and further away. However, your view of this platform is interrupted as what looks like a section of ceiling of another of these beautiful mansions, or maybe it's part of the same house, drifts over you with the same strange gravity that's affecting all these other buildings. And then you hear a as a small form shoots towards you, and you see a grappling hook latch onto the chandelier of this roof above you. And swinging and repelling towards you, I would like you to tell us what we all see.
What you see is a red gnome, a red-haired gnome, in a pirate ship shirt, with a
Pirate
hat,
ship shirt.
jauntily attached to her head, big feather. She's swinging from the chandelier in one hand with her rapier in the other, and she's yelling, "What ho!" as she swings down towards Frankie to land on his chest.
That sounds like some Patrick Rothfuss bullshit to me, is what that sounds like.
Yeah, probably. But, you know, sometimes the DMs let you get away with a little bit.
So, Pepper, I believe you have an action. What have you got to play with?
Oh, she has a lot of things to play with. So she looks at Frankie and she grins and she goes, "Come with me if you want to live." And she puts her arm around him, and using a card, she's not quite sure how it works, but she knows if she stares at it, it'll do something. And she casts Dimension Door.
Ooh.
And using the card, and will appear up on top of the platform where everybody else is, holding Frankie's hand, which by the time they arrive, he's standing upright and she's dangling from his hand. Their feet's probably still about 4 feet off the ground.
Awesome. And all of you see this redhead gnome suddenly appear with Frankie out of nowhere, and just kind of pop into being right in the middle of all of you. That being said, what would you like your vultures to do now, Bobcat?
And Pepper looks at, she sees Bobcat and she goes, "Hi, I got more snitters."
Oh my god, you're alive! This is insane! Yeah, you can help us! Like, this is so great! My vultures! Vultures! Come back and kill this lady!
Alright. Okay.
Oh my god, they didn't go anywhere yet, right?
No, they didn't technically go anywhere. So
they technically didn't leave. Okay, never mind. Kill that lady. She's
okay. Roll some damage for me. I'm kind of aware of how close to time we are. I'm gonna try and wrap this up.
Oh, oops. Okay, so
we bad.
Oh, I got a nat 20.
Oh my god, you guys! You're just killing me with all these nat 20s this session.
Yes. And an 8, which I don't think hits. So that is gonna be 14.
Whew.
And that was 11 and another nat 20. What is happening? So that is an 18. See? I swear it's not me making it up.
All right.
So 14 plus 18 is however much that is.
So that's like 32. Bloody hell.
I like these vultures.
Yeah, these vultures are great. Okay, so that will be... Whew. Alright, as these vultures just kind of dive and just start, like, dive bombing this woman who's trying to fight them off, and she's looking shakier and shakier the further this gets. And the violet light is flickering more and more the further you go, until the point that you can definitely feel the platform starting to sink and judder a little bit. Morgan, it is now your turn.
Okay. So Morgan is going to attempt to cast yet again the guiding bolt. Let's see how this goes. It finally does something.
All right, yeah, that's gonna hit.
All right. So it is a 6d6.
Oof.
All right. So here's 5. 5, 5, 5, 1, 4. And here's one more. 2.
Okay, wow, that's a little damage. This woman is looking incredibly rough. She is covered in stains of blood. Her eyes are flickering, and you see for a moment they start to look more like normal elven eyes for a second, and they flicker between that and this milky clouded effect. She's just about standing, but barely.
I'm gonna use the.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So I gotta roll that somewhere. Do I just roll the damage for it, or do I have to roll to hit?
No, you have to roll to hit with them.
Okay. 9.
That unfortunately will not hit as you swing, and she's maybe like flailing around not quite enough to actually be able to be hit at this point. And as she does so, you can kind of hear her, and she's going, "No, I won't. I can't go back to that emptiness. You don't understand. Don't let them do this to us." And the voice is changing and wavering and flickering as she says this. And she holds up both hands, and then suddenly, with like this incantation, she casts some kind of spell, and quite a few of them are close. Quite a few of you are close
Counter
to this
spell.
point. All right. Okay. So
Pepper
this
pulls out
is
another card to counter spell.
Yep. All right. So this is a 6th level spell. So what do you have to
All right.
roll for this?
I have to roll a d20 plus my casting modifier, but I don't have a casting modifier, so tell me what you want me to add to it.
I'm gonna say use your intelligence, because you're not a natural caster, but
Okay.
if you were, it would be intelligence based.
Okay. Oh, no. I didn't. No.
All right. So you feel
That
you
was
attempt to
hard.
counter the spell, but you just feel this wave of rage and frustration that just pushes it back, as all at once this vast kind of dark purple cloud spreads from where she holds her hands, and it envelops okay, so it's 20-foot radius, so 20 foot all around this person. Anyone who's within that distance, which is definitely the vultures, Frankie and Pepper, because they're near the center of the platform, and that's kind of where she is standing. Yeah, anyone else who is kind of in that radius. When the creature enters spell first turn, or starts its turn there. All right, and that is just going to be there for now. And then with the second half of her turn, she dashes backwards, so she's kind of just outside the radius of her own spell, but kind of away from you guys. And you see her turn, and it's as if she's trying to stabilize these portals. Going, no, it's not going to stay the way it is. It can't be the way it is. It's not right. It's just nothingness. And she continues to kind of yammer in this incessant way. And Frankie, it is your turn. Could you please roll me a Constitution saving throw as you start your turn in this dense fog of dark purple?
15.
15. That is going to pass, so you're going to take half damage. So
Okay.
this is quite nasty.
He's actually.
Have you got evasion as a rogue?
No, I have uncanny dodge.
Oh, right.
So
right.
this is okay. This is not an attack that I can see, but I do have Stone's Endurance still.
Yeah.
So I will
you're
use
gonna
my
take-
reaction for Stone's Endurance.
So this would be 30 damage. You would take 15 because you take half damage.
No, Stone's Endurance is D12 plus my con to reduce damage.
Oh, right, yeah, it reduces
It's a
damage.
Goliath
All right.
thing.
Nice.
All right, I hope you don't mind, but I just rolled a 12 on my dice here out of habit. So, yeah?
That's fine.
Yeah,
Do you take
all right,
3
so 14. So,
because it was already half because you passed the check.
okay, so half was 15, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so 12 plus my 2 constitution is 14, so I take 1 point.
1 point of poison damage. All right, but it is now your turn.
Okay, so he is going to continue. He's going to move in the direction. Can he see the lady? Can he see her? Can it make her out a little
Make a
bit?
perception check. We'll see if you can.
All right. $19.
Yes, you can. You can just about make her out on the other side, standing in front of these portals. You can kind of see her silhouetted against these kind of violet light.
All right. He is going to move next to her. He is still holding on to Pepper's hand, so she's coming with. And he's going to attack the woman.
Okay.
All I can see
And-
is Pepper fly. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can just kind of see Pepper like
Sorry.
holding
she
on.
knows what's going on. She's hanging on to him for. She knows. I mean, Pepper raised Frankie, so.
Yeah.
All right, so she has an ally within 5 feet. 15 to hit. It's gonna.
That does not hit, unfortunately.
All right. And he has is the saving throw a bonus action or does it just happen?
I think it's just something that happens. Yeah, it just has to because it's not a choice. You have to do it. So.
All right. So this and now some of that, and it didn't roll in the box. Are you going to roll in the box? It's not going to roll in the box for me. Come on.
There we go.
There we
that
go.
one will
So
hit.
that's it.
Absolutely.
All right. So we get the. Why is it not roll? Okay, we're just going to do a total of the 4d6 because you get sneak attack on this. So it's 14 plus another 4, so 18 points of piercing damage.
Okay, so as you do that, you strike at this woman, and you kind of catch her kind of across the upper collarbone and the chest. And as you do so, you slice through the silver chain holding this amulet to her neck, and you watch as it clatters to the ground. It's already been heavily damaged by the incredible lightning bolt that Bobcat sent at it. But as that happens, you hear the woman. She kind of shrieks, and then there's this almost holographic effect as she shudders and her form shakes. And for a moment, it looks like there are 2 of her. But then the next moment you see this grayish white purple form almost unpeel from her body and kind of breaks away from her. And it is kind of almost like fuzzing, almost like with static. And as this happens, you see that the portals are flickering and collapsing in of themselves. And you hear an incredibly high-pitched and wrathful kind of voice. All of you hear this kind of in your heads, just kind of calling, no, this isn't happening. This can't be happening. It was all going to go so well. And then the shape almost kind of explodes into light. And then this light is sucked back into the amulet around that is now lying on the floor of this platform. The woman herself seems to be out cold, and as you look at her, you realize she isn't actually dressed in grey and white at all. She was wearing black, and these black. She almost has this black She has almost like a secondary hood, and these black leathers trimmed with red. Frankie, you absolutely know what this clothing is. This is the clothing of the Black Viper, who is one of the most notorious thieves of Waterdeep and a nigh on famous character within the backstreets. However, like, you knew she operated in the city, but you didn't really know no one really knew who she was. But she's kind of lying there, and it looks like she's bleeding out. But you don't really have time to think about this, because as these portals collapse above you, and you see that there were these swirling shapes that were almost about to burst through, but they have now almost been sucked backwards as these portals start to collapse. And as they do so, the platform you're standing on starts to shudder, and you see deep cracks forming in the surface that snake kind of along and throughout the length of it. The huge cloud of poisonous gas is kind of dispersed as this happens, but this platform is about to fall apart. And then you have the body of the woman who looks like she's bleeding out in front of you, and then the amulet, which is about the right size and shape for the card, on the ground next. And we are out of initiative, but because this thing is coming down, we're going to stay in order to kind of keep things flowing.
Okay. Can Pepper use her reaction to grasp the amulet?
Yeah, I'll say Pepper can grab it.
Okay, so she just kind of uses her reaction and her own rogue training to just kind of snatch up the amulet, and she's like, Bobcat.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. Just, there's a lady with wings. Who? A bird. Can the bird fly?
Yeah.
And she looks at the bird.
We have to go in order. Is what I yelled back.
Fly! But that's her
Kenjibo,
reaction.
it's technically your turn now, Kenjibo.
Nope.
Kenjobu.
I take my bow and double tap, fire, and kill the lady. No, I hold my action, waiting to see what the party does.
All right, Birdie, you'd be up next. What do you do?
I am up next. I would like to. Can I use my movement to jump on one of my vultures?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna jump on one of my vultures. I'm going to yell, "Someone get on the other vulture," and then I'm gonna tell the vulture, whoever jumps on you, take them down and put them nicely on the ground. And then I'm gonna shoot a lightning bolt at the body that's on the ground, because I don't want this person doing anything else ever again.
All right, yeah. Like, she seems to be unconscious and is basically bleeding out, so you shoot that lightning bolt, disintegrated.
Okay, good.
You don't need to roll damage. I know.
You didn't want to do the math again. It's fine. I get it.
Guys, it's
Okay,
fast.
and yeah. Take me to the ground, vulture.
All right.
I would imagine. I guess I don't know this for a fact. Maybe you can tell me, but I would imagine the vultures can only carry one person. I don't know. It's a large creature.
Yeah,
I don't know how much
I
they
think
carry.
the giant birds at that challenge rating can carry one person.
Okay.
Pepper, it's you next. As the vultures are kind of starting to move, one of them is moving off with Bobcat, the other one is kind of heading towards your group.
How far away is Kenjobu from...
Kenjobu is... you moved around the side to kind of take pot shots, so you're probably about 20 feet away.
Probably.
All right.
Sounds good.
She's going to pull out another card. She's going to hold her action.
You got all the tricks.
Yeah. And she's going to hold her action, and she's going to look at Frankie and go, "We need to go pick up the bird. I don't think it can fly," because she just finally caught onto the stubby wings. And then she looks at the lady with her own wings and goes, she can fly. And then she's going to tell Frankie to go pick up pick up the bird, and then she's holding her action until that happens. Or when that happens.
Okay, Morgan, it's your turn. Oh, technically it's the vulture's turn. But the vultures are kind of obeying what you told them to do, so yours is kind of taken off the ground with you and is now kind of flying. Bear in mind there's a lot of stuff starting to fall. And the other one is moving towards the rest of the group.
Yep.
So Morgan, it's your turn.
So since she technically has wings, as Frankie pointed out, she's just going to she's going to summon her spirit guardians, which would do damage if there was something to do damage to, but mostly it's to protect her from going to splat.
It's a good idea. You are surrounded by shimmering spirit guardians. What do they look like?
They are very like translucent, and they almost look like you would think they were portals almost, but they have this beautiful like shields, and so that's kind of what they look like as they're flittering around her as they're falling through the sky.
Nice. Okay. All right. So you are. Frankie, it's your turn. Oh, yeah, you are holding your action. Would you like to use it now?
And when I hear Pepper, right, a gnome.
Yeah.
Okay. When I hear her say, Frankie, go pick up the bird, man, and then I will, because I have stupid monk speed, I just go, and I'm like on Frankie's shoulders, and I'll say in Bobcat's voice, I have come to destroy your stupid face. and then realizes that he's not supposed to say that to Frankie, but it was a declarative. And then he'll say, you need to chill, bro. Again in Bobcat's voice.
I think you have a new employee at your zoo.
I love it. I'm so happy. It'll be the new main attraction.
Amazing.
Pepper's looking at Bobcat like, what have you been teaching this thing?
I could just teach him to do the tours. It'll be amazing. He just repeats everything that I told him to. It's perfect.
Frankie, it is your turn.
Frankie's like, thought we was friends, but okay. And Pepper, who has been holding her action for this moment, uses the card to cast Fly on Frankie, who is now holding Pepper and the Kenku and being a Goliath. Is very awkwardly trying to dog paddle through the air because he doesn't know flying or swimming.
Okay.
If Bobcat turns around and sees this, he's gonna tell the vulture, teach him how to fly. Yeah. So the vulture will like.
Frankie's like paddling, and then eventually the feet will still go in the bicycle movement, but the arms will be going up. And eventually he'll make it to the ground.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so now all of you have a method of aerial locomotion. You are trying to descend to the ground level, but you are also trying to dodge the amount of debris and pieces of tavern and housing and building that are also plummeting towards the ground. So I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
Shall I make a throw, or should my bird make a throw?
I think your bird makes the throw.
Okay.
What about us riding on Frankie's back?
This is going to be Frankie's throw.
All right.
Dirty 20.
Woo!
Technical 1.
Nice.
My vulture got a 12.
But the good news is I have
You do. All right. So Bobcat, as you descend, your vulture deftly just about manages to stay out of the way of this falling debris. So Frankie, similarly, perhaps it's your two passengers, which are like, no, left of it, no, right, no, go right, to stop you crashing into these pieces of brick and mortar that are plummeting down. Morgan, as you were descending, a large kind of chunk of some kind of foundation block plummets towards you. Could you please make a damage roll for your spirit guardians?
15.
Cool. And how much damage is it they normally do? Is that they usually do a d20?
Yeah, they usually do.
Okay, cool. So the Spirit Guardians blast this hunk of stone as it comes plummeting towards you. There is still a kind of a football-sized lump left by the time they've gone to town on it, which is going to hit you for 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you descend. But you avoid the worst of it because you had the forethought to give yourself a boundary of protection. But you manage to make it to the ground just as the rest of as these huge chunks of building and whole floors and whole roofs and like tons and tons of rock and all just crashing back down to the ground. Thankfully, all the inhabitants of this part of the city have definitely cleared the area, so you reckon you don't think there are any fatalities from falling buildings. But the 6 of you managed to make it to the ground without being hit. And because you basically land just outside of Markello's shop, you're more or less perfectly above the shop as this is all happening. You see what looks to be a thin magical shield just about fading as the last of the disaster is settling, as if the last kind of dregs of magic he had left he was able to use to protect what was left of the shop and the warehouse and himself.
Anything that gets a little too close, too large, Pepper would be holding another card that would allow her to cast Shatter, just to kind of pulverize it and push it away.
Okay. Yeah, so you...
just kind of a for flavor thing that she would use that to...
Definitely. It's got to get through all those spells I gave you.
Playing asteroids on the way down.
Yeah, basically. But you are now all congregated outside of the shop where all of this began, and you realize you left something behind. You look up, and Bobcat, you disintegrated the woman.
I did.
You didn't check her person before you did that. And
No.
as you look up, you see cards fluttering down.
They didn't disintegrate with her?
The magic
but they-
items.
Gently falling on the rubble all around you.
Vultures, go get those ones out of the sky. Go get those cards.
The vultures get to work and start kind of grabbing these things.
Yep. Pepper.
Anyway, that
Frankie
landed on
sets
the ground
Pepper,
on him.
Yep, and Pepper sets Frankie and or Frankie sets Pepper and the Kenku down on the ground, Ken on the ground, and I imagine they'll go. Pepper at least will start collecting cards and adding them to her own deck.
Yeah, I have to assume they're very well laminated if they survive
Oh yeah, these
that
things have
lightning
some kind
bolt.
of magical
So,
enchantment protecting them. They are very
so
well
the vultures
protected.
are just snapping them and then like holding them in their mouths. Gross. They get vulture goo all over them. But it's fine.
Okay, so it is 20 past 1 my time. I don't know what time it is with you. But since we have already run 20 minutes over, I think it's time we do a couple of very short epilogues to tie everything up. So with the cards retrieved, you head back into Markello's shop, and you also manage to extricate the card for the astral plane from that silver amulet that was worn around the neck of the woman. Markello seems to avoid talking about her, as far as you can kind of see. Indeed, he seems to focus on the cards and just ignore her if you bring her up. And even you, Frankie and Pepper, you knew of the Black Viper, but you didn't really know, like, no one really knew who she was. But putting that behind you, there isn't even a body to check now anyway. You reunite the deck. And with all the cards that Pepper was able to gather after Oscar managed to get her resurrected on the Mount Celestia, where you ran into a friendly Deva who was forthright enough to perform the spell. on your behalf. In the week that the rest of you were trapped in the Underdark and time was somewhat warped for you, Pepper did indeed manage to gather many of the cards that you were unable to. Not quite as many as the Black Viper had on her person, however, it seemed through some almost unnatural luck in your battle with her that she did not have the time to use the full arsenal that she had gathered. However, what's done is done and the deck has been recollected. And as you join the final cards back into the deck of Many Worlds, you see a faint greenish blue glow surround the deck. And as you reunite it, a kind of a shimmering silver ribbon ties itself around the deck. Now all the cards have been brought back. And these kind of chaotic, magical auras you felt around each of these cards and the power they possess seems to quieten. And Markello explains to you that now all the cards have been returned. The power emanating from every single plane of existence once again can be in equilibrium. Now that neither chaos nor law nor good or evil is outbalancing any of the others. And as this happens, indeed, the gold rings around your wrist, or Frankie's neck in his case, snap loose, and you are able to remove those. And
yes!
Indeed,
My hand is
you're
saved!
free!
Frankie's kind of like, can we keep it? It's a gold ring.
Marco kind of looks at you and thinks, well, you can keep it if you'd like, but please bear in mind if the cards ever were separated again, it would instantly bind to you and you would have to go through this whole palaver again. But I'm sure that won't happen. We will make sure they are safely stored this time.
You can have mine. Do you want mine? You can have mine.
Yes,
I don't want it.
I will replace them back in the box from which they came originally. So you are separated from your commitment to the deck, as it were, and life returns to a semblance of normalcy for all of you. Markello is true to his word. You are all, and you're not quite sure from where he has procured this gold, maybe savings, maybe good contacts, but you all find yourselves handsomely rewarded for your efforts. Indeed, a huge investment in the Zoo Bobcat allows you to improve facilities for animals, for visitors, and the attraction of your
We got a new
establishment.
brown bear habitat.
It's true, and you tell everyone about it every time that you meet up with the old gang. Many of the children, in fact, are quite interested in taking permanent internships so they can, like, graduate to being, park rangers with you.
I'm not a park ranger, I'm a zookeeper.
You could make on-site deluxe apartments for new employees, maybe.
Oh, yeah!
In fact, why don't each of you give me a very, very short little epilogue for what your character does?
Okay.
So Bobcat definitely, if Kinjobu wants to work there, he will definitely hire on our Kinku friend and teach him how to give tours at the zoo. Like I said, we're gonna get a brand new big brown bear enclosure habitat that gives them all the space they need and all the little swimming holes and balls to chase around and all those things. He's gonna occasionally call on his vulture friends just to come hang out because he liked them and they seemed really cool. And he's definitely gonna keep in touch with Pepper. Never again will he go more than a couple of days without checking on her for sure, because he loves that little gnome so much. And he also goes to visit Oscar sometimes. Like, even though Oscar's a person now, he just feels somehow bonded. And just goes about living his life as a little zookeeper. Happy as
Awesome. What about Pepper, Frankie, and Oscar and the kids?
Well, Pepper is going to use the money to, kind of. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's not going to be, but it's at least got a roof and a big kitchen and a lot of bedrooms for the kids. Oscar stays with Pepper, of course. Always looking after her and looking after the kids. And her life continues on as it always has, although she has had to give up running the floating craps games because she's acquired a little too much notoriety now. So it's kind of hard to run a floating craps game when everybody knows who you are. And Frankie is Frankie. He'll take his share of the stuff. Pepper did talk Frankie out of pawning the gold bracelet and giving it back to Markello. So, because that was his plan. He will take his share and go through it rather quickly, buying little bits of toys and little things for the kids and for pretty barmaids and just pretty girls that he sees. That's just little bubbles here and there. It takes him a while, but pretty soon he's just back to doing second story work because he needs the money.
Okay, and so Kenjobu, do you take up the offer of employment at Bobcat Zoo?
Yeah, that's a good place for him. But then he uses the money to get his family here to Waterdeep to live, because it was one of my flaws, one of my biffs down there, that I send all my money home to my family. So,
we have a whole family of people at the zoo.
So we
You
moved
all
them
have a
here
job.
to live in the deluxe luxury apartments you've made for employees. So
Our special Kinku villas.
there it is. And then the thing that he said before we broke up, once he had the thing with the ribbon, he used Marcello's voice, and he waved his wing at all of us, and he said, "Save the city with bobblehead toys," suggesting we're the bobblehead toys. So that's his final line on that.
Perfect.
That's a good one. I don't know how
And Morgan, last but certainly not least.
So Morgan decides that Marcello needs help to keep all of his bits and baubles and things in check. So she kind of goes to work for him, since she's a protector, Asmar, and decides that she's going to guard all these bits and baubles because she never again wants to have her friends get hurt. And she checks in and visits at the zoo, and her share of the money goes to help a lot of the kids. She gives like bits and pieces of it to Frankie so that he doesn't spend it all in one place. And she patrons the zoo often, so that's pretty much what she did, and just becomes the guardian of bits and baubles.
Amazing.
And once a month we have a picnic together at the zoo. All of us who come back and we have a picnic.
And every time Frankie sees Bobcat, Frankie goes, "Bear!" and waits for Bobcat to become a bear.
Nice.
And every once in a while, Bobcat will play along and be a bear for like 10 minutes.
Amazing. And just before we sign off, about 6 months later, everything has calmed down. You've gone into this easy rhythm of living and this new arrangement and these new friends you've made. Bobcat, one night you are sleeping in your luxury rooms at the zoo.
Yeah.
And you dream. You see a face.
Oh God.
You see dark skin, a smooth kind of face, and these pointed elven ears. And it takes you a moment to recognize, but this is the Seeker.
Oh, okay. Hey, buddy.
And he looks at you and smiles and said, "Bobcat, it's been some time, but it's difficult for me to contact or speak to any of you now that the deck has been reassembled."
Yeah, I thought you were
However-
supposed to stay in your little card thing.
Well, after that time that you let me take corporeal form outside the card in order for me to open a portal to bring you back to this plane.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome. I've been able to manifest somewhat. It's taken me a long time to summon the power to be able to speak to you, but regardless of your quest for finding your quest for finding the cards may be over, but I am still a seeker, and I believe I have found something that you were looking for. And you see in your mind's eye, you see the form of the vial that was stolen from your mentor that night.
Bro.
And
Where'd you
that's where
find
we're
that?
gonna end. That's it. That's where we're gonna finish for now.
Oh no! Wait, we need season 2. I need to know what happened to the file. I still don't know what's in it. Oh,
Thank you
man.
guys. Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so sorry we ran so late. I had so much to try and get through and round
It
up.
was our
but
finale.
I know. Oh my god, yeah. So that was great. Thank you so much, my fantastic players. You ran with everything. You ran so fucking many natural 20s.
And ones. And ones.
Blame the
And
new
one.
dice. Yeah.
Yeah, what the heck, guys? Ugh, I couldn't drag the fight out anymore. It was getting too late. But I hope you guys had fun. And although we had to kind of rush the story a little bit, it kind of worked in the end. And I hope you had
It's
a great
still
time.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I hope everyone who tuned in to watch the show, whether you watched from the start, whether you joined us a bit later, I hope you had fun and enjoyed it as well. It's been fantastic to DM for you guys, and I cannot wait to do it again. Encounter Roleplay has been amazing. I love you guys so much. And so because it's so late, let's quickly go around the table. Everyone, let us know who you are, where we can find you, what you're up to. And then we will sign off for the last time on the Deck of Many Worlds. Birdie, start us off.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. You were incredible. And I love this story. And seriously, like, can we keep playing forever? It was such a blast. I mean, Cleric, you know how flippin' excited I was to play with you when I found out. So you were absolutely incredible. Amazing. It was so much fun. To the guests, all the guests, not just you two, but definitely you two as well. You made it so much fun, and it was so dynamic and new and different every week, and it was so cool being able to play with everyone. And Morgan, what a wonderful guest to have 2 weeks in a row. Like that was, or well, 2 sessions in a row. Like, thank you so much for helping to save our asses. And I always love good Kinku. I mean, shout out to the Kinkus out there because,
Yeah.
like, hell yeah. I'm a Kinku in my soul, so I'm with you. Yeah. I have the same mask. It's on my wall. I have the same one. That's so fantastic. Okay, so I know we're supposed to go quick. I am Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus. You can find me all over the internet under that name. Next up, I've got the return of the Dominion of Esland finally on twitch.tv/weirdlings. I play a Drow Ranger in that game. Super fun. Next Tuesday, I've got something real exciting coming up. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, so I'll tell you soon. Keep an eye on my Twitters. And Wednesday, I got a game on Katie Faze's channel. It's a one-shot. It's a scary thing. It's about monsters and kids, and it should be real good. And gosh, I don't have to do anything next Thursday now. And then next weekend, we got other stuff. So just look at my Twitter, and I'll have a pinned tweet, and then you'll know all the things that I'm doing. Most of the things I'm doing. Not all the things. That would be creepy.
Amazing. Cleric, enlighten us.
I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. Everything that Birdie said squared. Just, it's been amazing. Rach, the chance to play with you, to have you as my DM was as soon as I was at it was like, yes, yes, yes. And Birdie, always. Our guests, you get Graybeards, Morgan, you guys have been fantastic. All of our guests have been fantastic. Check out the Discord. Never know. More games might be coming someday, soon. Who knows? I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. I will be back here tomorrow for the Greyhawk game, Basilica of Cudgel. Otherwise, check my pinned tweet. I do have games pretty much every day of the week going now. And thank you all for coming. Everybody that's watching on YouTube, hang tight. Maybe you catch us live again. I love y'all. You're the best.
All right, Greybeard's Tavern.
I'm Graybeard of Graybeard's Tavern. Some of the channels you can see me on, I'll just name them. You can go to my Twitter, Graybeard's Tavern, to see my schedule. But I'm on Indoor Adventures, Pro Restarters, here on Apocalypse When on Sundays, at Encounter Roleplay, at Jackal and Hare, and Dammit Berries channels. Those are where you can hunt me down. And, oh, of course, my own channel on Sunday mornings. I play Darkest Dungeon where we not only have hand crossbows, but we have normal crossbows that I fire here in the tavern. And we have a good time because, again, the prop man, I have just, a few toys everywhere. So I like to play with stuff. And I'm going to put my mask on and pass the torch to the next person.
All right.
I'm Misty. Oh, sorry.
Go for it. No, go for it. Absolutely. I love your key.
Charm021. You can find me on Twitter under that. I think I'm Forever Charmed 21 on Twitch. I am my home channel where I hang out the most in the chat rooms is over on the Scraticus channel. And next season I will be DMing a Sunday game for the Greyhawk channel. So I also really love Encounter Roleplay, and thank you so much for giving me the most awesome time. I'm so proud to get to play with all of you guys, especially for Tally, because I saw her doing something over on the Scraticus channel. I'm like, I need her as a DM. So, anyway, thank you all, and thanks so much.
Thank you all so much. So, finally, I am at Talanir on the Twitters. Also, am I not on the Discord? I can't remember, maybe. I might be Red Talon on there. Anyway, yeah, mostly I'm on Twitter. I do Instagram, but I don't really understand how Instagram works. But anyway, it's crazy. So in terms of streaming, this show has sadly finished, but it's been a blast. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and DMing for you guys has been an absolute pleasure. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it's definitely like my confidence has come on so much from doing it, which is great because next season I am going to be running something new and something special that I have been kind of working on Scrat's channel, which is going to be a weekly show, which I'm... Guess you'll have to wait and find out. I am so excited for it, and I can't wait to be able to chat about it because it's going to be fun. In terms of other streaming on Tuesdays, you can find me either on the Nerdsmith channel doing Final Rites, which is an all-lady, all-tiefling, gothic, southern... It's a fun time. It's
so good.
It's pretty chill and it's good fun. And then on other Tuesdays, I am playing The Witcher tabletop RPG on Susanna Grace's channel. That is kind of all my streaming biz for now, because at the moment I am also doing freelance illustration. I do a lot of tabletop role-playing illustration stuff. You can find all that kind of jazz on my Twitter, and there's links to my art station and all that jazz if you like art stuff. So yeah, that's basically me. I'm just going to say thank you again so much for joining us for Deck of Many Worlds. It's been amazing, and I'm just so I love all you guys. You're all amazing, and it's been so much fun. Here is to more of that coming up soon. And I think that's pretty much everything I have to say.
Love you
Guys, thank you again so much.
Bye.
Have to end on a high.